Good afternoon, everyone. A stormy afternoon for East Texas. I'm CBS19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony on this Thursday afternoon with a few severe thunderstorm warnings now in effect. But this severe thunderstorm warning here near Ore City down to Diana is getting the attention of the National Weather Service. There is some rotation within this cell, and they are considering issuing a tornado warning on that. But right now, that goes until 1 o'clock for Harrison, Marion, and Upshur County. So Upshur County is really in the bulk of this storm right now, but it will be moving into Harrison and Marion County in the next few minutes. Then back to the west of that, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect for Wood, Upshur, Smith County, and also a portion of Gregg County. That includes the cities of Winona, Hawkins, and Gladewater. And that cell is moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So what we're doing here is we are going to stay on air unless we get a tornado, in case we get a tornado warning. If the National Weather Service decides they will not issue a tornado warning, then we will continue our coverage through our CBS19 app and also on our Facebook page and, of course, on YouTube. But as I widen this out, we are kind of seeing a structure here, and I'll show you where, right in this sort of area where it's beginning to bow out. So remember a few weeks ago, we had those very powerful winds that were in excess of 100 miles an hour. Now, it's not to say that these will reach 100, but looking at this right now, we could be looking at winds that may reach 65 to 70 miles an hour, and that's going to be right in here. So just south of Ore City, just to the north and northeast of Kilgore, north of Interstate 20. So Ore City would be in line for that thunderstorm, which is happening right now. Harleton, Jefferson, Baldwin, and Uncertain out at Caddo Lake. Meantime, this portion of the cell has moved through Tyler, and if you're here in Tyler, take a look outside from our camera on top of our Chase Bank building, and you'll see how heavy it is raining. I took the lightning off here so that we can sort of see the intensity of the cell. There are little bits of hail cores popping up within this cell. But right in here, some stronger winds all the way down into the southwestern part of Smith County. And if you guys can hear me in the booth, if you can take that shot from our Chase Bank building camera, it would be on one of our cameras that we have, and give everybody a nice indication of the gray sky that's out there right now and the heavy rain that we're seeing that's coming down. So this storm is going to be moving across Smith County, and it will continue tracking south and eastward here in the next few minutes. And we have another live picture for you from Interstate 20. This is going to be our videographer, Jason Garrett, along with Nirali Jaiswal. They are in the eastbound area coming out of Canton and headed back toward Tyler at this time. So it doesn't look real bad right there. They will get into some heavier rain as we head into the next few, I'd say, half hour to an hour or so. All right. Coming back to the maps here and looking at CBS19 radar, I'm going to put this, you're going to see where we're looking. We're tracking essentially this portion of a cell also toward Gladewater, toward Kilgore. That's between now and 1 o'clock. Longview, 109. Hallsville, about 125. Easton, 129. Marshall, about 138. So what you could expect here are some gusty winds, heavy rainfall coming down out of that cell. And again, it's this portion of the cell that we're keeping a careful eye on. Meteorologist Colleen Campbell is with me in the Weather Center this afternoon as we continue to track this. And again, if the Weather Service decides not to issue a tornado warning on the cell, and the reason that we're on is because there may be a tornado warning forthcoming with this cell. So Colleen, if you could zoom in on that area for me and switch over to the velocity product that we have available here, we'll be able to see. You can see right here is what I'm kind of worried about is that bowing structure toward Diana that's kind of moving out of Stamp south and east of Ore City. And if you take a look at the velocity, so this is rather broad rotation right now. So there's a bright green area here and a darker red area here. So the red's going away from the radar. The green is going back toward the Shreveport radar. That's fairly wide. Perhaps we could sample the wind by just using a little sampling with the question mark there and see if what we're getting in terms of any kind of straight line wind gusts that would come out. So we may have to turn off this severe thunderstorm. Yeah, so that, again, the severe thunderstorm warning is going to go until, I believe, 1 o'clock on that cell. But the velocity in there, okay, so it shows us that we do have some winds approaching 45 miles an hour. The gate-to-gate shear here, so inbound, outbound, is adding up to about 37. So That's not tornadic strength. We'd have to get up to about 65 to 70 to be worried about that. There's sometimes you can have weak spin-ups that are less than that. But right now, it's fairly broad rotation. The shear is not tremendous. The velocity, at least in that portion that we sampled, was a little bit less than that. But still, there's very gusty winds that are crossing 259 right now between Ore City and Diana, and that is moving to the east. It'll move into Marion and Harrison County and out of Upshur County soon. So as it gets closer to the radar product, the National Weather Service may have a better chance on able to sample what they're looking at inside that storm. So already it's kind of pushed out here. And so if we could sample maybe right in that area, we might get a stronger wind on that. But again, I'm not looking at any kind of tornado at this time. I don't see anything. It's embedded in that. But in fact, the winds have come down just a little bit, at least in that sample that we took there. And there's another stronger one that velocity is reaching 50 miles an hour. And that's why we have this part of the storm that is warned at this time. Let's track this area here from 259, from south of east of Cedar Springs back to Diana. That's going east at about 40 miles an hour. And as that moves eastward, we'll give you an idea of where this is headed. So Warlock obviously is in the middle of that. Lassiter, Harleton, Jefferson would also. But that's the type of bowing structure that we saw not long ago, a few weeks back, that created such damage in the Azalea District and at White House. And so that's a portion of the storm that we are particularly concerned about. And that is currently severe thunderstorm warned at this time. And that warning goes until 1 o'clock for Harrison, Marion, and Upshur County. So Harleton, downstream of that, would catch a portion of that cell at about 12:56, Jefferson about 1:13, Oil City at 1:45, and Uncertain at 1:33. So this is going to move out into some pretty unoccupied land out here in parts of Marion and out of Upshur County for parts of, I should say, Harrison and Marion County. In fact, it looks like it might be more so in Marion County than, say, Harrison County. But right now, the area where the strong storms or the severe weather is right here, and it kind of drifting east, but we've seen this part of the bow push out. All right, let's use our velocity product and go back down here to the southwest, back into Smith County. And you can see some gusty winds now starting to increase around Big Sandy, also north of Interstate 20. So Big Sandy, northeast of Tyler, we're seeing some stronger wind gusts in that vicinity there. And that severe thunderstorm for Gregg, Smith, Upshur, and Wood County goes until 1:15 this afternoon. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warned portion of the storm also. All right, so I think what we're going to do now is switch over to our live stream on our Facebook app, because we're not seeing that tornado warned storm at this point, but we are getting some pretty gusty winds that are continuing to move through parts of, in fact, there's a new thunderstorm warning that just popped up, so let's stay on for that just for a second and bring you up to date on that. Okay, so this is going to be the new portion of this storm, and now this is Cass, Gregg, Harrison, and Marion County till 1:30. So they did not issue a tornado warning on this, but what they did is they extended the severe thunderstorm warning way out to the east. At the same time, you've got the ongoing warning till 1 o'clock, and then the other portion of the thunderstorm warning going on for Gregg County until 1:30. All right, so at this time, we are going to get you back to regular programming. We'll continue streaming. Again, if you want to watch our live stream, switch over to our Facebook app, go to our YouTube page, or use our CBS19 app, and you can watch our live stream there. But for now, we'll be back. If there will be a tornado warning on CBS19, we'll get you back to regular programming. Right now, I'll take just a brief pause here to make that transition. Got Lauren McClung, and this is what is the weather for Jacksonville? Into Jacksonville this afternoon. Is it safe in a tin building with no windows? Chris Walker, absolutely not. Lightning can be deadly, and because tin is metal, that could be very, very dangerous. What time will it arrive in the city of Henderson in Rusk County? Well, let's see. It's going to be a while. It'll probably be an hour or so. I don't see anything immediately moving toward Rusk County. This is now all starting to sort of transition from the northwest off to the southeast. We've got several wind gusts within this cell here. This is the cell that we've been watching in parts of Gregg County that's moving into Cass, Marion, and Harrison County. That's moving toward Marshall and moving toward Jefferson. So what we were noticing the last couple of days is in this one area, particularly in here, the winds aloft are increasing. And so they're forcing or pushing the thunderstorms and making them accelerate. At the same time, those winds aloft, once they tap into that colder air in the upper reaches of the atmosphere or the upper reaches of the thunderstorm, because the cold air is more dense and heavier, it tends to sink. So what ends up happening are those 65-mile-an-hour winds are then transferred through momentum or just force itself because it falls down because it's heavier and colder air, and it starts to push the thunderstorm out, or you get these gusts out ahead of it that exceed severe thunderstorm warning limits. And the severe thunderstorm warning limit would be 58 miles an hour. Once it goes beyond that to about 70, we consider that considerable. Once it goes to 80, that becomes catastrophic or destructive, and then it's essentially the same as a small tornado. But right now, no tornado warnings ongoing, but we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings. It looks like Tyler now. Let's go in and zoom in on the middle part of Tyler. We'll zoom in tight on Tyler, and there's a nice shot. This is going to be from Interstate 20 eastbound with Nirali Jaiswal and Jason Garrett, who are moving currently on Interstate 20. So here you go, they're now on 69. Okay, so they're now on 69 coming south back into Smith County, out of Wood County at this time. All right, so that's a great indication of where we can see or where they are. They're probably going to approach Swan here soon, so they're headed up in this direction here. So they're kind of on the backside of that storm where it's not as strong. 110 to New Chapel Hill, here's 31. These are some heavier cells. If we just kind of pan this over to the right a little bit, I want to see it downtown, or I'm sorry, the other way. Pan it to the left. There's downtown Tyler. So the rain letting up currently, even though down here on the loop, if you live in South Tyler or near the loop and Troop Highway, it's still raining at a very heavy clip. The other part of the story today is flash flooding. We have the threat for damaging winds. We have the threat for a spin-up tornado, but we also have the threat for flash flooding, and you can kind of tell the heavier rain that's coming down. All right, so it looks like they are now getting to coming down 69. I think they're going to get to the loop here, and that's where to make that.
The National Weather Service said that there has been reports of flooding at Forgotten Lane and Cheyenne Trail. That's in Henderson County. Over by Enchanted Oaks. It's 1 mile northwest of Enchanted Oaks in Henderson County. That's coming from emergency management. They're reporting some flooding over at Forgotten Lane and Cheyenne Trail. The fire department has been dispatched to that area.
All right, so that's the other part of the story is that the flash flooding. All right, let's make sure we're doing enough of our storm tracking here so that we can let folks know where these storms are heading. Kilgore at about 1252, or White House, I should say, at 1252. Then we've got Kilgore that's also in the path of these thunderstorms, and Longview till about 114. Lake Fork 122. Marshall and Stewart are also in the path for some strong gusty winds. So I'm going to pan this up to the north just a little bit here. I took the severe thunderstorm warnings off, but let's add that back in there. We still have currently have a severe thunderstorm warning for Cass, Gregg, Harrison, and Marion County, and you can see now this is starting to rapidly move. This is the part of the storm that I had a lot of concerns with in southern Cass County and Marion and Harrison County as this pushes eastward. So we may catch a very strong wind gust here before this moves into Louisiana, right along Interstate 20. Starting to move a little faster, I think, also at this time. So that's headed toward Jefferson and Marshall within the next, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. Oil City by 1:36 and Blanchard by about 1:49. That would take it over into Louisiana. So widening things out right now. Again, we don't have any tornado warnings in effect, but we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings for Gregg, Smith, Wood, and Upshur County till 1:15. And now finally it sounds like the rain has let up, at least down here at Troop Highway and the Loop. So let me put that back into motion for you, and I'll go back over to the wall. And Colleen, you're monitoring the Weather Service chat?
Yeah, no new updates here. They do have a storm out in Navarro County, which is broadly spinning towards Corsicana, so that's something that we'll have to watch for us later down the line, because that's the general area that these storms are coming from. Around, Navarro County, Mejia, out by Corsicana. We've seen a lot of these storms kind of start out that way. You can see that loop there where they're really just firing up. And Brett was mentioning earlier how these will be considered training storms where they kind of go over one area again and again. And that's where we get that flash flood threat from too.
Yeah, you can really see that from down southwest here to the northeast. Now it's starting to see a little bit of west to east movement within the storm.
Yeah.
And there is a low pressure area up here over western Oklahoma. Look how you can see how the storms are sort of curling back into that low pressure area. So this is likely the cold front extended down here. You still have that southwest flow. Look at that. That cell was rotating. That was spinning as it moved up into Red River County. A couple of these other cells also spinning a little bit and then encountering some air that was already worked over by earlier thunderstorms. Winds aloft driving that thunderstorm. That one's starting to weaken a little bit. We're going to have to watch these, Colleen. I think these could be a problem down in Anderson, Cherokee County, and Rusk County, into Nacogdoches County.
West of I-35.
Yeah, because those are moving into basically untapped real estate. I mean, nothing's happened down here yet. So
Right.
I bet the energy is just really building down there. And if you were looking at one of our pieces of computer data yesterday, it suggested that this bows at about 3 to 4, 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. That would be significant winds moving across Angelina County, Houston County, into San Augustine and Sabine County, maybe even southern parts of Nacogdoches County. So the tornado watch goes until 6 o'clock, but this is just, this first batch here is doing about what I thought, except that the winds perhaps are creating some severe thunderstorm warnings, but not perhaps as strong as the data indicated. It was suggesting greater than 70, 75 miles an hour. It's more or less, I think, in line of about what we've seen so far, and what we've sampled in there is just about 50. But I would bet there's probably a 60 to 63 mile an hour gust within those thunderstorms. And then as we extend that back down toward the line, it extends south and westward.
They also mentioned they're starting to see some rotation again along the line segment coming into western Marion County. So that would probably be part of that storm that was warned over out that way, which we turned the storm warnings off. But Marion County, they're under, there it goes.
Yeah, I'll turn it back on. So, near Jefferson and Marshall. So that's starting to increase with intensity again.
Sorry, they're just, Charlie mentioned from National Weather Service, starting to see a little bit of rotation. So looks like they're trying to turn. But
I see it right in here.
Yeah.
I'll go back over to the wall and point that out. Looks like it's right, a little bit there. It seems like it's really, that's starting to tighten up a little bit. So this is within the severe thunderstorm warned area. So just east of 259, there's Jefferson. So I think this is the area that they're watching, a couple little areas where it's spinning. With any kind of wind gust, you'll get wind shear, you'll get a kind of a problematic little spin there. All right, checking out some of the Facebook comments. What time will it arrive in the city of Henderson and Rusk County? I'm going to go with about probably between 2 and 3. Someone wanted to know about Atlanta. Atlanta, Texas, the storms are probably right there at this time, so within the next few minutes. Winds are pretty wild in Chapel Hill, says Lauren McClung. Thank you, Lauren. Good to know. Lights are flickering in Atlanta, so the winds are starting to pick up in Atlanta, Texas. Is it safe? No, we already answered that question. What is the weather for Jacksonville, Texas? Jacksonville, you're going to have thunderstorms this afternoon. And then Lauren says it's coming down hard in Chapel Hill again. So the rain is kind of pulsing up and down throughout that the cells in parts of Smith County. I'll just go back here a little bit. In fact, Tyler right now looks to be in between thunderstorm cells. And then you get like what looks like a little squirrely line back there.
Look back up by Athens. That looks interesting.
That does. It looks like a little line of perhaps some stronger winds. All right, so let's see. Henderson, we were just asking on Henderson about the weather there, and it looks like some thunderstorms have developed south of, or prefrontal showers, so it's south of the front, and those showers will move into Henderson here likely within the next few minutes. We're still just with the severe thunderstorm warning for Gregg, Smith, Upshur, and Wood County. That goes until 1:15. In fact, that's about another 15 minutes on that cell. Then we've got the Cass, Gregg, Harrison, Marion County cell till 1:30. And I'll track this cell here in Henderson, western parts of Rusk County, eastern parts of Cherokee County. And again, this movement on the storms is relatively 40 miles an hour, so that's going to take it into Laneville, 113, Pine Hill at 119, Carthage at 140, and then over into Louisiana by about 2 o'clock. So remarkable to think just how fast these storms are beginning to accelerate now, Colleen, because they were kind of lined up along the front. Now it just seems like they've suddenly picked up some steam and they are starting to, I don't know if I'll use a name out of the past. So a long time ago on the Weather Channel, and his name was Bruce Thomas, and he used to do weather, and he used to use the phrase skedaddle. He loved skedaddle.
Skedaddle,
So,
that's a good term.
Yeah, right? So that's what those thunderstorms are starting to do. They're starting to skedaddle. I worked with Bruce a while back in Cleveland. All right, thunderstorms north and east of Waco, and also just heavy rain. So now we have to be concerned, once you get past the severe thunderstorm warning, then you have to be concerned that you could get flash flooding. And there's a lot of heavy rain out there. Our forecast was 1 to 4 inches of rainfall. Remember the storm or the Weather Prediction Center out of Silver Spring, Maryland, they're an arm of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They had issued a slight risk of excessive rainfall, and it fits right in there. Where you see these little red polygons, those are not necessarily tornado warnings. Those are either flood advisories. What is this one up here, Colleen, north of Texarkana? Is that a new watch, or did they pop a tornado warning on that? It would be out of our viewing area, so it looks like it's some sort of flash flood watch.
Yeah, I think that's like a flash flood warning. I don't see anything.
Oh, yeah, it's purple.
They're watching a couple areas of possible rotation in Marion County, as we were pointing out earlier, but as far as the intensity, Charlie was saying, how we were saying earlier, Smith, Wood, Upshur, Gregg, that intensity of those storms are kind of winding down. We've just kind of been seeing winds. Not really seeing anything pick up.
Yeah.
But Marion County, yeah, at times there's been things trying to spin up. It just hasn't come to fruition yet.
Right? So, yeah, and Marion, there's that one cell. I'll zoom way in here on this little area of some rotation west of Harleton. It's really broad. East of Glenwood, east of East Mountain, Walker's Mill. So it's this area that we would keep an eye on. But again, it doesn't look like it's going to be okay. All right. Thunderstorm warnings, but no real mentions for tornadoes here right now, but keeping an eye on the storms coming in. Thank you, Ann. That's Ann Hernandez. Ann, you're at Tyler? Okay. Okay, let's see. Peyton, I think, was just asking about, Peyton Morgan was asking a question. They just said it's hitting Atlanta now. It should be. Oh, okay. So we were more concerned with flooding and thunderstorms in Tyler area then. Well, we're talking about, right now there's no real concern for tornadoes at this time. It would be flash flooding, and it would also be some gusty winds. Tyler right now has a severe thunderstorm warning in effect at this current time. But the strongest cell that was in Tyler has moved out of Tyler, and now it is moving south of Longview. So as I put this into motion, you'll be able to see how that cell is kind of joining up to the east of Tyler toward Longview. There's another cell back to the west toward Athens. But essentially what happens here is once you get to a point where these initial thunderstorms move through, there are a couple of warnings back here to the southwest of Athens along the cold front. The actual cold front itself is going to be right in here. This is the actual cold front now. So it's just pushing to the northwest of Tyler. This live picture here that you can see is from near the Brookshire's warehouse at the Loop, and I think they're coming in Jacksonville Road. And so that shows you the rain that's coming down essentially in the city of Tyler. Meantime, this is a flash flood warning, so that's not a tornado warning, that's another flash flood warning. We are going to continue to watch the winds. There have been some questions about Tyler itself, currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. Winds would be the bigger impact. We could still have an embedded tornado within the line as it moves through. But initially, what I'm thinking here is that you have the thunderstorms that come through, it sort of just zaps the atmosphere of its energy. And the initial wind threat, there was a push of winds aloft that come through. Once those go to the east, then we look back here. There will be another band of a wind that will move through and over Smith County in about an hour. I'd say we're not out of the woods in Smith County for about an hour. Once we get past 2 o'clock, I think Smith County can sort of relax a little bit. It's this area down here that could also see some very strong winds into Houston County, southern Cherokee, southern Anderson, northern parts of Nacogdoches County, and also southern Rusk County, Panola, and Shelby County. So I think this is going to end up and may become a huge player here this afternoon. This was a cell that the Weather Service was watching as it was over by Ore City, but now it's moved about a county and a half east, and still just broad rotation and weak rotation at that. Another portion of the cell down here toward Henderson has gained a little bit of strength and may pick up a little more strength as it moves into Panola County and closer to Carthage. And then back to the northwest, this is just rain, heavy rain, through parts of Henderson, Van Zant, Upshur County, or I should say Wood County, and that little portion of Upshur County. So that'll move through. Another thunderstorm warning out here on Interstate 45 right now. I think that was Navarro County, if I'm correct on that. All right, so, all right, Anna. Anna says she loves how we break down the details of the affected areas for storms. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, yeah. All right. Then Peyton says, my boyfriend is driving home from work from Texarkana to Atlanta. How is that looking? Texarkana right now has a flash flood warning in effect. So watch out for those roadways in that area. I would think that there may be some heavier or some ponding on roadways that could create some problems. Meantime, once you get to Atlanta, then you'll be dealing with just some heavy rainfall and you should be okay. All right, let's go back here toward Linden, back toward Jefferson. Again, this little bowing structure here, I'll point this out for you from a little pointer here. So you can see that, if you can see that on the screen where the yellow area is, it's right in here. So that may be a severe wind gust in excess of 58 miles an hour. So I will widen it out and we'll track that for you. So that's moving east now, roughly at about 40 miles an hour. In fact, it changes depending on which radar you're sampling from. And so as I moved that west, it started to sample from the Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm not sure why it did that, but it did. All right, so that one is moving toward Jefferson, 117, uncertain about 140, and Blanchard in Louisiana, that'll be there at about 204. So that's moving kind of rapidly at this time. All right, so then let's go down the line back to the west a little bit farther, back toward Longview and Henderson. Even though this is outside of a warned area toward Henderson, let's track this portion of the storm. Remember, the whole area is under a tornado watch until 6 o'clock. So sometimes within a tornado watch, you can have severe thunderstorm warnings, but severe thunderstorms can and do occasionally spin up tornadoes. We saw that, of course, on April 4th, or I should say, we actually had straight line winds, but the thinking is that there was a possibility that we may have had a tornado when the straight line winds hit the Azalea district. It certainly looked like that on radar and with some of the damage that we saw. All right, Pine Hill 119, Buncombe 136, Carthage at 142. So if you live in Carthage, this portion of the storm will reach those areas. Again, maybe not quite 58 miles an hour, but a 50 mile an hour wind gust would not be out of the ordinary for that storm as it moves eastward. I'm going to switch over to velocity here and sample a portion of that storm also so that we can see exactly what the winds are doing. So it looks like some of the brightest is right here to the southwest of Henderson. So 30 mile an hour wind gust reported with that. That's not bad. Let's go a little bit farther to the east to south of Henderson. 23 mile an hour wind gust. Let me zoom in just a little bit and see if we can get a little more detail. Again, not warned, and that would be why. If you don't have a wind gust over 50 miles an hour, you're not going to be warned. Here's a little area between Kilgore and Overton showing some stronger winds, at least showing up on velocity. Now that's 57 miles an hour. So we do have a stronger wind gust right now that's moving just between Kilgore and Henderson. So we may get another severe thunderstorm warning coming out of this to the east of Henderson, just coming over 259, northeast of Turnertown and south of Kilgore. So that would be northern Rusk County if that is, again, we're looking at a different elevation into the thunderstorm. Okay, let's see. I need to drive from Commerce to Mesquite. Has he said how long this storm is lasting or should plow by? Star, out to the northwest of our area, I would think that things are going to quiet down after, certainly after 3 o'clock. It may be even after as soon as, let's just say 3 o'clock. I mean, there are some other thunderstorms out toward Dallas, but those will not be severe. Those are going to be post-frontal. So I'm not really worried about those kicking up anything severe. So those are working their way eastward. In fact, they're right on the front. It's the stuff that's out here where the winds are stronger, where there's better support for upper level dynamics for severe storms toward Emory, Canton, Athens, to Waco that we need to be watching carefully. In fact, one push of wind is already kind of almost reaching the Louisiana border. That's going to be right here.
Some reports of some quarter-sized hail over in Cass, but other than that, I haven't really received any major storm reports. But if you have any storm reports that you can share with us, absolutely either send us a Facebook message, you can message us right in Messenger on the CBS19 page, or you can text 903-600-2600. Or another option is if you go on the app, the CBS19 app, you can go upload a picture by clicking near me. Brett walked us through that earlier, and upload it that way. So if you're seeing reports of hail, make sure you send it to us if you can. But so far, I've seen reports of quarter-sized hail over in Cass.
That's
County.
it so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's this storm here in Navarro County has some stronger winds with it.
They said they are going to put a new severe thunderstorm warning will be coming out for Harrison, Panola, Rusk, Gregg, Cherokee, and Northwest Shelby. Large severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, so that's
covering all bases there.
That's going to be on, I think, that portion of the cell that I was looking at,
pop up
right in here. Well, let's see. You said northern Rusk.
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right. So that is,
Rusk, Shelby.
okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's
Northeast Cherokee. There it
Northeast
goes.
Cherokee. There it is. Okay. So don't do that to me. Do that new warning. Oh, there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning. All right. So we'll detail. Okay. So that's the area that I just sampled. We had 57-mile-an-hour winds. So it was right in here. So there may be some borderline severe thunderstorm winds in excess of 58 miles an hour. At least that's what the radar is sampling. So a little push here with these storms. This is moving over toward Carthage. Colleen, could we put a little timeline on that?
Sure.
A little track on that and see. That goes until 2 p.m., Gregg, Harrison, Panola, Rusk County. So inside that Rusk County storm, if you were watching a little bit ago, we sampled, it was 57 miles an hour. So if you just think about being 58 miles an hour, that would be a severe thunderstorm warning. Anna Hernandez says she's in the Tyler White House area and currently just sprinkling now. Would you consider adding Mount Enterprise to your map? My parents live there. Well, it's on our map right now. You can see it there at the southern end of Rusk County. So it depends on where we're kind of how we zoom around. Sometimes we have more cities on the map than we have others. Mount Enterprise typically shows up. Elysian Fields, Justin wants to know about Elysian Fields. Thunderstorms are heading toward Elysian Fields, should be there. Well, we track these here. So you can see Longview 113, Hallsville, Carthage 130, Gary City 149. So let's say there's Bel Air, Wascom at 2 o'clock. So Elysian Fields likely in the 2 o'clock time frame, 2:15. So maybe an hour from now, Elysian Fields will get hit with what could be some gusty winds, very heavy rain. There is lightning inside the storm. We turned off the lightning just so we could see individually in the cells here. We don't see any hail right now, but it certainly looks like there could be some strong winds. In fact, let's go back over to the velocity product. And yeah, I know we have to move it around so we can find the closest. Yeah, we sort of sit in this. That's weird. Did we get a dropout on data from maybe Shreveport on velocity?
They put the
there
nearest
it is.
site on, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's in such a. I guess maybe that one. All right, so let's sample that area right on the Gregg County line, right there near Kilgore. Yeah, turn off the warnings. So if we sample that area there where we see some brighter red, we might get maybe some wind gusts that are in excess of 58 miles an hour. That would be it looks like we're getting quite a bit of wind right in here. So yeah, 55, so that's close. Close enough for a severe thunderstorm warning to certainly be issued. Gate-to-gate shear is not all that impressive, meaning winds inbound toward the radar and outbound away from the radar are adding up to about 38 miles an hour. So if that storm's rotating, there could be some swirly winds, but certainly nothing that's getting close to tornadic in that area at least. Somebody's mentioning, let's see, was it Peyton saying the lights were flickering in Atlanta as the thunderstorm moves into the Atlanta area? Star, I would hold off for about a couple of hours before we drive to out toward Mesquite. I think we already answered that. So this Longview to area here across southern Gregg County, that's a really broad rotation. I mean, that's several miles wide. So that's likely a big base of a thunderstorm. You're looking at dark clouds here. This portion's probably pumping out quite a bit of wind. And at the same time, that would be going away from the Dallas-Fort Worth radar, and there's likely some wind being drawn in. So there's likely inflow winds coming into the storm here as it pushes into northern Rusk County, southern Gregg County. And again, that's going to move over into Marion County and eventually Harrison County, I should say, southern Harrison County and Panola County. So Rusk County, this is the portion of Rusk County that's in the warned storm, Gregg County, and then again, Harrison County and Panola County. That goes until 2 o'clock. That's the warning there. So that's 45 minutes from now with that severe thunderstorm warning. Curious that this portion here has stayed in a severe thunderstorm warning just because I think the cell has moved. Oh, there it goes.
You
Yeah.
just dropped it.
I just wondered why it was still in there when the cells had kind of moved out of Smith County. So Smith County no longer now in a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so Smith County, if you've been watching us on our app, and that's another thing you can do if you get into a warning like this and things start getting rough and you need to go to your safe place. It's the innermost room of your house. It's either a closet, it's a bathroom with no windows. Key is no windows. Take the CBS19 app with you, and then as you do that, you can continue watching us through our Facebook app, or you can watch us on our stream, our CBS19 app, and then you can kind of stay along with everything. And then at the same time, when it's safe, let's say you come outside and you see some hailstones, or you've got a branch down or a tree or something like that, when it's safe, then you can take a picture and then use that Near Me tab in the lower right-hand corner of the app, and then it'll take you to upload, share with us. You share the picture with us, and then you get that picture comes in, and then we can share that with the National Weather Service. What is this? We got what going on here? We have a tornado warning?
There's a first tornado warning. This is over in Mexia.
Okay.
So that is, that just popped up.
No.
That's not our viewing area.
That's
it's just
Limestone
outside.
County.
Yeah,
145.
but we mention it because the direction these storms are going.
Yeah.
Brett was mentioning, about an hour ago, we were talking about Palestine down by Anderson County and how we timed it out for like 4 o'clock, where we could start seeing some stronger storms out that way.
Yeah, I was thinking 3 to 4. It may be there and into Anderson County within the hour. We can put a track on that. It looks like it's going to be, look at that. There is a tight little couplet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, zoom in on that. Wow. Okay, that may be about ready to produce a tornado in Limestone County, southwest of Horn Hill to the northwest of Ben-Hur. No, that's still out of our area. Well, look, gate to gate shear on that's 100 miles an hour. So yeah, this is one worth watching now. If you're in Anderson County, this is 2 counties away, back to your west, 2 counties away. So we are going to keep watching that carefully. If this stays together and moves into Navarro County, I think, or Hill County, then we'll need to probably break into programming and then follow that in, because that looks like that may be trying. But I wonder, go back to reflectivity and see if that puts a hook echo on that. It may not be, because it may be one of these embedded spin up. It's trying to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is. So if you zoom out a little bit, we can kind of see that hook. It's not an artifact on this. Sometimes you'll get hail in here, and then you'll get like what we call a 3-body scatter strike. And so what it does is the radar image, or the pulse hits the hailstone and it spikes, goes out in 3 directions, down, up, and out. And so when it does, it puts out what we call an artifact or a fake image, which looks like a hook echo. But in this case, there is no hail core. So this is sampling. And then watch when Colleen goes back to velocity, right in there is likely going to be, and it looks like it's loosened up just a little bit. So there was a little tighter rotation with 100-mile-an-hour wind. So there may have been a brief tornado in Limestone County just a few minutes ago, back to the northwest of Groesbeck and back southwest of Mexia. Again, this is 84 here from Prairie Hill to Mexia. So that would eventually come on in. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning, I guess, now for our area too. Let's see. Let's click on that. Okay, so that's been. This is the portion of the storm that's been extended out to the east now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Cass, Harrison, Marion, now Miller County, in Louisiana. So still worried about winds in here. You want to sample some of the winds on velocity there? I think we've been just.
Sorry, I was reading a chat here.
Oh, and what are?
Over in Fort Worth, they're saying Sam Rayburn ISD, police reporting golf ball size hail, but that's in the telephone area. I don't think that's our Sam Rayburn.
Where is
that? They might
that?
have their own Sam Rayburn. Sam Rayburn ISD, but that's in Fort Worth.
Oh.
Do they have their own Sam? I'm
yeah.
thinking Sam Rayburn
Yeah, Lake. Yeah. So, no, I don't think it's Sam Rayburn Lake. We haven't seen any hail like that. Danny Gee Jr. says, truck driver here. I'm at a job location between Big Sandy and Gladewater. Big storm with lots of lightning passes through. Thank you. Appreciate that input there and that comment and that report. Big Sandy just to the northwest. That was a little bit ago. Let's see. And then we've got Peyton Morgan. Wish me luck. I got to get out of this mess. Please be careful, Peyton. Would you consider, okay, we did that. I'm looking through some of these comments here, just trying to help people out in any type of question that they might have. All right, so here's another little area of some rotation that's within the severe thunderstorm warned area. There's likely some stronger winds there. And again, that tornado watch, you can see that box in pink, that goes until 6 o'clock tonight. That white might be a little hard to read, but that's what that says. All right, Greg, Harrison, Panola County till 2 p.m. for that portion of the severe thunderstorm warned part of that storm. And you know what, Colleen, it just doesn't, I don't see a lot of, maybe we sample this for wind, but I just don't see a lot of what would indicate to me very strong wind gusts unless you're southwest of Henderson now. That would be east of Overton. There might be some breezy winds, but boy, if that's rotation, it's broad. So I'm not real concerned about that at this time. And a lot of what we're doing right now is sort of assessing the storm on the fly or on the go. So when we're kind of zooming around and checking out certain features and then we kind of zoom in, it may sound like we're uncertain, but things are developing within the storm. And so if we were sitting here just watching this, this is essentially what we'd be doing. Colleen and I would be talking about a cell going, hey, look at this, look at the wind speed in this, what do you think of this? And so right now that's just 39 miles an hour. So that doesn't look like that's going to be trouble, even though it's within the severe thunderstorm warning. All right, so maybe widen back out a little bit. And, for the meantime, Robert, can you take a shot from Tyler here just to give us a view outside while we kind of set something up here? So it looks like, yeah, things have really quieted down, at least in the Tyler area. Just some light rain, couple drops on the camera lens. There are some lower clouds back here to the northwest. I think we'll get into another round of rain between 2 and 3 in the Tyler area. After 3, our threat should shift away, and it should start to shift over deep East Texas. And you might start to notice a change in the atmosphere or a change in the air mass where it starts to feel just slightly cooler, slightly less humid. Certainly by tomorrow morning, we are going to feel loads better. Temperature will drop into the mid-50s. There's probably going to be fog around as much rain has fallen so far. The temperature will cool, but you can see, look, this is what I've been looking at since a couple days ago, and meteorologist Colleen Campbell's also looking at this. Look how fast the clouds are moving aloft. So we're looking at sort of a level up here, and when we see clouds or on computer data that suggests that clouds could be moving this fast, all you have to do is tap into some colder air at the top of the thunderstorm. Remember, cold from science class, cold air, it's more dense, it's heavier, and so it sinks. So that cold air, if it can tap into that cold pool of air aloft in the thunderstorm, it can pull it down to the surface. If it pulls it down to the surface, it rushes out and it creates those damaging wind gusts. So right now, surface winds aren't doing much. You don't see much at the wind here, right? But it's aloft that we have to watch. And this is not necessarily here in Tyler, but I use this as an example because we can still see how fast the winds are flowing in here. It almost looks like we have some little gravity waves moving through here, but I can't tell for sure from that vantage point. What do you think? Is that a gravity wave? Check that. Does that look up there? Looks a little wavy.
Yeah, I can start seeing.
Yeah, possibly.
There, yeah.
All right, so let's widen things back out. Looks like we have a bunch of counties in this severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll go over those here. You can see this kind of stretches. Not surprised, and we get a cold front like this. So there it is. This is going to be Cass County, then Marion, Cass County, Harrison County, Marion County, into Rusk County. Panola County is also in that. This is essentially the eastern half of our viewing area. This is what I'll call part 1 of a 2-part storm. Part 1 is this first initial wind burst aloft that is pushing in. I'll step off screen so you can track that.
Yeah, let me do this again.
Yeah, that little that little appendage or that little push is indicative of some stronger wind. We call that a bow echo. When we see these bow echoes like this, and we saw this back in the April 11th storm, also the April 4th storm that hit White House, and the April 11th storm that hit the Azalea District, that storm there, when that went through the Azalea District, produced 100-mile-an-hour winds. All right, let's see. Robert Armstrong says it just stopped raining out by 64 and 279, possibly. There are pockets of now some where the rain lets up a little bit. But this little push of wind here is headed to Tatum by 132. So it's 124 right now, so in about 8 minutes that heads to Tatum. Pine Hill, 133. Grand Bluff, about 147. Carthage here at about 2 o'clock. And then Wascom by 209. So again, this is one part of the storm. These were some forecasted winds aloft that would exceed 60 miles an hour. So even though the winds aloft are at 60, there's the potential then for that to be brought down to the surface and produce a damaging wind gust. But so far, Colleen, in the chat, we're not hearing about any kind of wind damage out of these thunderstorms.
No. Mm-mm.
That's good news. That is certainly good news. All right.
Looking at 2 areas of embedded rotation, says Charlie, one of southwest Henderson and another of northeast Jefferson.
All right, so the one is southwest of Henderson. I think we might have been looking at that earlier.
Oh, over in Cass County, they have the Exxon in Vinger has roof damage. Part of it is missing.
Oh, really?
So we did just get a wind damage
report. So in Avenger, and that's in Cass County?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of wind damage being reported right now in Cass County. Let's go back up to that portion of the storm. We've been kind of going up and down the storm and looking at a storm out, and so it would be right in here. I think Avenger was up in here. It might have just been through that area. There's Linden. So that could have happened rapidly. That would have been back here to the west. I think Avenger is back in the western part of Smith. There it is. There it is. Yeah. So if that went through there, then it really produced some wind. So that's why they extended that severe thunderstorm warning. Remember, that area was actually southeast of Ore City. That was under a severe thunderstorm warned storm, but it also they were concerned about it having possible rotation. It looks like this might have just been a straight line wind that came through Avenger. It could have caught that gas station roof perfectly and just kind of sheared it off with about a 60 or 65 mile an hour wind. Could have been briefly stronger than that. We certainly didn't see a lot of that. Let's go over toward Jefferson right now and maybe sample the leading edge of those winds. Again, here's something that we watched this that other night, where we see these little inflow notches and outflow notches. So it looks like the wind's trying to increase a little bit as it heads toward Caddo Lake and Uncertain over Jefferson and across Highway 59. So some stronger winds there just to the east of 59, just southwest of Uncertain. Maybe we sample those a little bit. So velocity there, it's only showing about 40 miles an hour. That one's closer to 50, so 50, 55 mile an hour. And we do have that area that is under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. Cass, Marion, and Harrison County go until 1:30 on that severe thunderstorm warning, so that's about 2.5 minutes longer. And then another warning was issued for Cass, Harrison, Marion, and Miller County. That was extended out to the east until 2 o'clock, but also includes Bossier and Caddo parishes on the Louisiana side. So that is a potential wind gust that could exceed 60 miles an hour, could exceed 65 miles an hour. Like I said, the data indicated there were going to be potential winds that would transfer down at about 63 to 65, and so that's not would not be surprised. All right, let's go back down to that southwest of Henderson. Where the area that they're watching there is southwest of Henderson, where we see that broad rotation right now.
Let's see. Yeah, they said one of southwest of Henderson. I guess they're talking about right here.
Right in here, yeah. So let me go point that out for the folks. So what they're watching is essentially here where Highway 47 kind of meets up.
Sorry.
Yeah, you might have to turn. I think I might have my my track on, my magic track, so I might have to turn that off.
How do I turn?
Right here. Object list. All right, now.
Oh,
now I got
beautiful.
rid of. Yes, that'll get rid of me every time I move. You moving. All right, so there it is. So there's McKnight. I can't read Pone. Pone. I can't write. My eyes are like all blurry on that.
Pone, yeah.
So right here at this intersection is 79 and 47. So there's there's probably a rotating cloud right over here.
Well, let me sample it.
Let's sample that, and I'll see if anybody's saying anything on Facebook about that area. Is this it for storms today, or will be there? Jessica wants to know if this is it for storms. It depends if you're in Tyler, you've got, I think, one more round here in about an hour. So much lightning in Atlanta.
There it goes. And what is it popping up there?
So 76 miles an hour? Whoa. All right. So we got a strong wind gust right now southwest of Henderson. So again, where the radar is sampling into the storms, probably at that 5 to 6,000 foot range where the winds are stronger. But the question is how much of that gets it down to the surface. Did a severe thunderstorm warning just popped on that, or did you add that back in there?
No, I just put it back on.
Oh, yeah. So that goes until 2 o'clock. So it's right here. There could be some 76 mile an hour winds southwest of Henderson. There was Pone and there was McKnight in that area. So you know what? At 76 miles an hour, Pleasant Grove is to the northeast of that. I think you'd be fine at Pleasant Grove, but if you're in that Pone area and northward up toward Henderson, might be a good idea to sort of to head to the safe place right now just to Jessica Carnley was in Longview, so she wanted to know about Longview. Was that it for today? Longview, perhaps. We'd have to widen things back out on the radar to answer that for sure, but we are watching that area in Henderson. So yes, in terms of severe weather for Longview, you still have a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 2 o'clock, but and it's not done raining yet. It's going to rain some more. So Longview, you're not out of the rain yet, but this might be. I'm kind of hesitant to definitely clear you from any type of additional warnings this afternoon, only because what we're seeing back upstream, back to the west, the direction of those storms, they were moving sort of northeast, but they may take more of an east to southeast turn here. If we'll widen things out, we'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. So there's Longview. There's the storms, Mineola, Canton. So you're back in thunderstorms right now. We did have this tornado warning out in Limestone County, and that was the city of Mejia. That is, you can see that's almost taking on a little bit of a supercellular nature to it. So that's embedded within that line. They still have that warned until 1:45. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Okay, so and that's Bosque, Ellis, Hill, and McLennan for a flash flood warning. That's another part of this story today is the flash flood. All right, so widen it out, and if we can, we'll put this into motion. I think the areas to the northwest, Emory, Canton, so you might have to put on the NextRad product just so it samples the whole thing and doesn't, so that looks like that's the strongest part of the cell there. There's a little gusty wind coming into Smith County here unwarned. This looks like just general rain. Again, this is moving now kind of east to northeast. So, yeah, we're not quite done yet in Longview as this all settles to the south. I think once we get here in the next half hour, the concern will be Jacksonville, Henderson, Carthage, Center, Nacogdoches, Lufkin, Crockett, especially with that part of the storm there. Notice that's moving across Limestone County, and it may move into Anderson County, and then that would take it across Cherokee and southern Rusk or northern Nacogdoches County if that cell continues moving in that direction. But this is one feature here, the stronger winds that are bowing that out, and we have some wind damage being reported at Avenger. There may be some very strong winds in Rusk County right now near Henderson. We were sampling about a 79 mile an hour wind gust there. That's moving over toward Marion and Harrison County, northern Panola County also at this time. So that's pushing eastward, and I think that's where we stand right now. It'll be interesting to see what we do with the severe thunderstorm warnings out to the east. All right. Is this all the rain for Canton, says Caleb? Yeah, essentially. You've got another little thunderstorm that's moving out of just south of Dallas toward, I think, Ellis County. That'll likely move through Canton within the next hour or so. But in terms of the heavy stuff, that's pretty much it. Jessica Carnley in Longview, I would hold on. I can't really rule out that Longview doesn't see at least one more thunderstorm that has the potential to be a little bit on the stronger side. So again, the tornado watch goes until 6 o'clock. This whole area, the front itself is kind of right in here now. Maybe just to the west of Dallas pushing eastward. But it's this area where the winds are moving southwest to northeast, and they are strongest. That's the area that has the most potential to have severe weather. You can see these little bows that pop up. One's about to come back into Athens. There's another one popping up into eastern parts of Van Zandt County. This will move back into Smith County. That is not warned at that time, though it looks like there might be a little hail trying to form back again on that cell near Athens. It's headed into Smith County, and that looks like perhaps maybe a little quarter-sized hail inside that. Also seeing some hail into that Henderson portion of the storm. And that storm is lifting northward with some stronger winds now into northeastern parts of Rusk County. Longview, let's go in and let's go right down to street level in Longview and give everybody a view there in Longview of what that kind of looks like in terms of the storm itself. So we're going to zoom all the way down in and look at that. So there's 31 coming into the south side of town. It looks like a little break over downtown Longview, but there's heavier rain west. Some very heavy rain down toward Lakeport and Kilgore. And then a little bit farther to the north of that as you head out toward, I believe, White Oak. It looks like the heaviest rain's past White Oak. But again, this area here will move back into Longview with some heavier rain. And then the biggest part of that storm now looks like it's cleared out of Longview, currently in Gregton, and headed off to the east. So White Oak, that still has that severe thunderstorm warning till 2. Liberty City, the rain is letting up there. Gum Springs, heavy rain currently. Hallsville, heavy rain also at this time. So again, we've been streaming with you here this afternoon, trying to bring you up to date on what's happening. Hopefully you guys have been able to keep up to date with us. And Bethany Moore says, thank you guys for always doing such a great job keeping us informed and safe. Thank you, Bethany. We appreciate that, those kind words. Let's see. We are still watching that storm out toward Mahia. Again, we're keeping an eye on that. That's in Limestone County, and that still is tornado warned. Maybe we go on to velocity and just see. I just want to see, because we could give folks over in Anderson County and Palestine a couple of county warning ahead if this thing were to hold together. I'm not sure that it will, only because well, we haven't had much in the way of rain in Anderson County, so it may have some more juice to work into. But right now, that looks like a rather broad rotation. I'm not sure what Weather Service out of Fort Worth is saying, Colleen.
Yeah, they've been pretty quiet on that. They were talking about the broad rotation on the west side of Henderson.
Yeah.
That's about it. They continued that severe thunderstorm warning for Cherokee, Rusk, Harrison, Panola, and Shelby.
That goes until 2?
Yes.
All right. Peyton says, Peyton says it looks like it should be 9 o'clock right now in Atlanta. It's so dark. She was giving us great reports out of Atlanta. Yeah, it's really heavy over there. Let's go back. This is probably the strongest portion of the storm right here, which is interesting to note that the data suggested that the winds were really going to get fierce out here the closer we got to the Arklatex. And that certainly looks like the case. In fact, I think this is one bow segment that we'll watch and we thought was going to kind of pan out and possibly create some wind damage. And then this has been the extension down to the southwest of that. Maybe we take a look inside that Rusk County storm again. We know, like Mount Enterprise down on the south side, just to the south of Laneville, it doesn't look like there's much going on there. But inside and northeast of Henderson, northeastern Rusk County, west of Tatum, that's really broad rotation right now over the city of Henderson. If you live in Henderson and you're watching us, and you can do this safely, if you can snap a picture of the clouds, that is impressive. 106 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear. Wow. Yeah, not this May. Which portion of the storm was that? The red to green, just on the southwest side of 259.
Just around 259.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is again.
Wow. Hey, control room. Can we maybe break into programming for a minute or two, just to maybe get a head start on this? Okay. All right. We might go back on here for a little bit as soon as we get an opportunity, and I'll just give everybody a heads up. Colleen, move that off of there a little bit so we can point out where we're looking at. So it's right in here, and then you could have just dragged that over there, because sample that again and see what we've got going on. That was impressive. 108 miles an hour. Man, there might be something down there. Okay, you let me know when we go on. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm CBS19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. We're taking a moment here to break back into programming because we want to show you something that is going on in Rusk County. That's the city of Henderson. We come southwest of that down 259. We are sampling some very strong winds within the thunderstorm and an area of rotation down here toward 259, just out of Henderson. Currently, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect on this cell, but no tornado warning. But when you look at that gate-to-gate shear, inbound winds going perhaps toward the Shreveport radar and away from the Shreveport radar, the fact that we're getting this, but again, this is going to be sampled at several thousand feet above the surface, but that's concerning. And there were some stronger velocity signatures, meaning there were some straight line winds. So we looked at that on Facebook just a little bit ago. If you can safely do this in Henderson and you can share a picture with us looking south, there may be a very visible structure to that cell. In fact, let's see if from our Nacogdoches camera, maybe we have a view of that. I'm not sure if we can take that camera. We might be able to get sort of a view of what's going on with that cell looking northward. I will have to pan this around a little bit, but if you can, let's take the Nacogdoches camera, and when you get that up, then we'll be able to sort of look inside this storm. Meantime, what we've been looking at is this very impressive cell that has developed across the area. All right, so I'm going to pan this around. That is up to the, let's see, we need to go back to the north a little bit over the football stadium. Control room, if you could take the camera, our camera, our CBS, won't be our CBS19 camera. It's going to be the Nacogdoches camera, the Stephen F. Austin. Just take our camera network. There it is. And I'm panning around on this right now. Okay, so we are looking essentially into this part of the storm. So it's certainly, it looks broad, but there is a bit. You'll see this pan here in just a second. You're going to see a very low cloud deck right on the horizon. And when you see that here, I'm going to go back and you'll see this pop up here in a second. Yeah, first I went to the right a little bit. Now we're coming back the other direction. All right, again, so we don't have a tornado warning on this cell, but we have a strong wind signature that is showing up in just to the southeast of Henderson in southern Rusk County. And that wind signature here, or velocity signature, is going to kind of correlate here with this very low, dense, dark cloud that we are zooming over here. In just a second, you'll see it. So right in here is our essential view of what we're looking at. So right in there. So you can see it. Either that's a sharp shelf cloud, or there might be some sort of lowering going on within that cell right now. So again, not tornado warned, but this is looking at it from quite a distance, but that is certainly getting our attention. Let's go back over to radar now, and this is why we have some concern, why we've cut in here on programming. We'll go back.
There it goes, tornado warning.
Tornado warning, okay, so hit that. Where is that going to be? That is it. That is it. So we are on air before the tornado warning was issued, and that is why, okay? Because we were looking at this, we sampled 108 mile an hour wind gusts, or winds, going gate to gate, going in toward the radar and away from the radar. And that is where it was, just east of 259, and this is moving to the east, okay? So it's in that rotation, right in there. Colleen was pointing that out. What we use is the velocity data, the data that is sampling the winds coming toward the radar and away from the radar, and that, in that case right there, is what we saw. So what we're going to want to do now next is we are going to want to track where that rotation is going, all right? So it's going to be right in here, probably within that velocity signature there, and you can go back to velocity, maybe get a handle on a better way to track that. So right there it is. Look at that. That is really sharpened up now, north of Highway 79. So let's sample that. Push that out. Probably moving northeast at about 30, 35 miles an hour. Again, look at the gate-to-gate shear in here. So there could be about, if it's not happening now, there could be almost a strong tornado right to the southeast or east of Henderson, right there. All right, so we knew that there was a chance. Colleen's kind of circling that out. All right, so let's track that. Where is that headed? That's moving to the east. It's going to be right in here. So that looks like it's where it's pulling in. The inflow's here. The outbound wind is there. So it's probably right in here, Colleen. So let's sample that area in there. and then
Okay,
pull that
so-
out to the northeast. So that's going to be southeast of New Prospect. So if you live right now east of Henderson, northwest of Pine Hill, please go to your safe place. Take your CBS 19 app with you, please, and go there now, because a few minutes ago we were sampling, and hopefully you were watching us on Facebook, and we were trying to keep everybody. We came into programming a little bit earlier because meteorologist Carly Campbell and myself, we recognized that this cell was starting to rotate and become much stronger. And we looked inside that storm using data that looks at the winds going toward the radar and away from the radar. And indeed, this showed that cell right here that was starting to spin up. So that's headed toward Durgan. So please, safe place there. Tatum, 205, Darko, about 219, Elysian Fields, 237, if this cell holds together. So let's go back to velocity and kind of zoom in on that area. There it is. Okay, so we're probably a little bit to the east, and that's my fault, Colleen, I'm sorry. Let's zoom in on that. It looks like it's on the northeast side of Henderson right now. So that's going to be north of Highway 2, there's Highway 79. So it's east of downtown Henderson, but it's essentially right in here. So there's 259, and as we head out of town going to the northeast, this is the area that we want to watch. And that tornado warning now goes until 2:15, so another half hour. So we're going to be on the air with you for another half hour. We're sampling winds going toward and away from the radar at 101 miles an hour. So that is really very concerning right in here, okay? So we were looking at this area, and that seems to be where there could be a tornado. If we can switch over to the correlation coefficient or the debris tracker, what we might be able to find in debris tracker, I'm not seeing anything. Okay, that's good news, because if we were starting to see some blues or greens in there, we'd be concerned that we had some damage. We don't see anything right now. So let's go back to velocity. So right now it may just be radar indicated. Boy, it's strong though. That looks very strong. And in fact, when Colleen samples that, it's about 100 to 100 mile an hour winds within that thunderstorm. So it's still there. It is consistent at 101 miles an hour with velocities at least now reaching 89 miles an hour. So we're either I think we're going to have some straight line wind damage down in that area. So I'm going to pan, what we might do here in a second is just keep that radar image up. Colleen, if you want to track that, I'm going to try to get the SFA camera pointed out to the east a little bit and try to get a little better view on that as it now kind of moves.
Put a track on
I mean, we're not going to get a great vantage point of it.
I got to zoom out. Oh, darn.
Oh, you're fine. I think that's good. So again, if you're watching us in Rusk County right now and you live northeast of Henderson, please go to your safe place. Your safe place is going to be the innermost room of your house or your apartment, or if you can, and you live up toward Durgan, you live up toward Tatum, and you are in a mobile home or in an RV, please, I would leave and go to a safer place right now. You still have a few minutes. You have until about 2:12 in Tatum. You have till 2:24 at Grand Bluff. You have till about 2:03 in Durgan, so time is running
Brett,
out.
I'm going to interrupt you. They said
Yeah.
they now have a tornado debris signature on the CC, the correlation coefficient, northeast of Henderson, confirmed tornado on the ground.
Okay, we got a
through their-
confirmed tornado on the ground, and that is in northeast of Henderson. Let's go back to CC. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so we're seeing it right in here. That's where we're starting to see a little debris. See the little yellow there? So there's some stuff flying in the air. Could be branches. Sometimes when we get into building materials, it turns out to be blue, but this likely maybe some tree branches, and they have a tornado confirmed on the ground northeast of Henderson. So hopefully we came on before the tornado warning was issued, because the signature was there, and then the Weather Service issued that warning. So hopefully that little bit of advanced warning gave you a chance to get to your safe place. We want you right now to be in your safe place if you live northeast of Henderson, especially up toward Tatum. Be in your safe place and stay there until the warning has been lifted, and it's going until 2:15. Take your CBS 19 app with you. We are also, I believe, streaming with our radio partners. So if you have to, you can listen to us on Jack FM. You can listen to us on La Invasora. You can also listen to us on Kicks 105.5 and The Ranch, okay? So any one of those, and there it is. So this is likely going to be our area. Let's zoom in on that debris ball. I'm going to call it a debris ball, some tracker, some debris that is showing up right now. And it's getting a little brighter, so this could even be getting a little bit stronger. I'm going to go back over to our radar and maybe even go over to reflectivity. So here's another portion of this tornado warning And that is going to be, this is moving into parts of Anderson County. So now we have another tornado warning back to the southwest for the western portion of Anderson County. This just also came into our weather center at this time. So northwest of Palestine, up toward Cayuga, northwestern parts of Anderson County, headed out 287. That is under a tornado warning because of the cell that is currently northwest of Fairfield. So that is a second tornado warning that has been issued currently. All right, back to this storm. And here it is. This is going to be, that's a velocity signature that we're seeing with that storm out there in Limestone, Freestone, Anderson County. All right, so let me go back to the other, there it is. And now, with the Titan indicator, we are picking up at least now a signature of a tornado. So there may have a tornado on the ground, or they have a confirmed tornado on the ground and a tornado warning that is in effect. So I'm going to turn off at least the thunderstorm warning because it tried to sample both of those in there. But what we're going to do here is go on our Titan indicator and give us an idea of what we're seeing inside there. Okay, so let me get that off of your velocities.
Tornadoes paralleling Texas 43. So I guess that's a road out that way, Texas 43.
Paralleling, okay.
Yeah.
So, and this is moving northeast at 31 miles an hour. The probability of hail, the tornado impact is an 8. All right, so we don't see that very often with our Titan indicator. So it's right here. So let's zoom in on this area. And you said it's paralleling Highway 43. So this means it's moving mainly, it may be moving northeast. I have to see where 43 is. That, boy, yeah. And if we sample that again, I bet we're going to get 100 mile an hour. It may even have picked up a little bit. Okay, so this is New Prospect. So it's moving essentially just to the southwest. If you're a New Prospect, please be in your safe place right now. We're looking at, this is the rotation in that. Right now, the gate-to-gate shear on that is not indicating what we would anticipate that showing. But definitely, this is a tornado right here that we're looking at. Let's track that. Let's give folks a track on where that's headed. Again, we know it's headed toward Durgan and right up 43 as we thought. And again, this is on our Titan indicator. It says that the impact here is an 8. That's almost 10. So that means that there's a big impact from a tornado. The National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado on the ground northeast of Henderson, moving through northeastern Rusk County toward Durgan, toward Tatum, toward Grand Bluff. All right, so if we can, we'll erase that. In fact, that looks like that even got stronger. Look at that. Boy, there is a tornado for sure here, right on Highway 43. In fact, it looks like it's moving right over 43 at this time. That's a strong signature. So that, I think, New Prospect, you need to be in your safe place, but that is your circulation. So this is going away from the radar. This is going toward the radar. So right in here is our tornado warning. This goes until 2:15, but the way things look right now, I'm going to guess, Colleen, and I think gate-to-gate shear on that is 89. So it's weakened just a little bit. Perhaps it's broadened out just a tiny bit. I'm going to guess we'll get a tornado warning that's going to probably take us well into the middle part of the afternoon now as that heads toward Tatum. I mean, it's just, okay, so now that means if you see this hatched, this is mean that a tornado has been observed. So we have a tornado on the ground right there, just south of Highway 43. I believe that was east of, would we say Mount Prospect? There's Henderson. City of Henderson's outside of the polygon. So we, if you're in Henderson watching, you're okay. You can come out of you're okay. You can come out of your safe place or your shelter. This has moved east of Henderson. But Beckville would be another place that I know it's not in the polygon. Beckville, head to your shelter right now. You're going to ride this out for the next hour. Durgan, head to your shelter. Please, if you are in any kind of mobile home, I would get out of there right now and find, it has to be close though. We're not talking about driving back. If you know anybody driving on 79 toward Henderson, please have them pull over and wait this storm out. Right now it looks like it's paralleling 43, so 79 would be a safe place to just kind of hang out and wait for that storm to pass. Colleen's putting a track on it as it continues to move up to the northeast. And it's roughly moving, these storms have been moving 35 to 40 miles an hour. But she'll show you where this is headed here as it continues moving up to the northeast. It's probably because it's too low to the screen and it's trying to sample or pull part of the screen on the bottom. Misty says prayers to those in the path, yes. Yes, indeed, for sure.
It's getting stuck.
Some flash flooding is being reported in Atlanta. Lynn Black from Henderson is on. Lynn, if you can tell me what you see looking out to your northeast, let me know what you're seeing right now with that cell. I think you're going to have to turn off the magic track.
Yeah.
And then just click up there on the top on the red banner, and it should get rid of it. I'm not sure why that didn't happen with the, use that. Yeah, that should get rid of it. Oh, it pulled about another one up. Okay, now let's track that. Let's pull that storm up if we can. All right, so it's moving out to, what, 40 miles an hour? That'll do it. All right, so, all right, Pine Hill, 157. 3 minutes, Pine Hill. Get to your safe place now. Tatum, 207. Beckville, 212. Carthage, 225. If this can maintain its current path, it would come very close to Carthage. But let's just be safe, and let's go to our safe place right now at Carthage. But that is the cell. And again, I think Pine Hill and Tatum and Durgan are the most vulnerable cities right now. Let's zoom back in on that and see where that is headed. We've been sampling the winds inside of that, as meteorologist Colleen Campbell's been showing you, and we've had winds in excess of 100 miles an hour, and that's why we came on. We were doing a Facebook Live. We started seeing winds being sampled within that cell of more than 100. Now that gate-to-gate shear is close to 90. So it's still, if it's on the ground, it's still doing damage at 90 miles an hour. Colleen, can you click on the Titan indicator and see what it now says? Remember, it had us at an 8 out of 10 impact of a tornado earlier, and now it's saying a 10. Yeah, so a 10 out of 10. So we definitely have a tornado right here. That was New Prospect. I'm sorry, I might have said Mount.
And we were mentioning Durgan and Martin Lake. National Weather Service is also going along with what you were saying a minute ago, Brett, that this tornado is likely going to continue moving south of Texas 43 towards south of Durgan and Martin Lake. So those folks, there's Durgan right there.
So it's moving sort of like this?
Kind of south of Durgan, yeah.
South of
right
Durgan.
Along just south of 43. So maybe we'll track that.
Yeah, okay. So there's the general location. There's the tornado. Our Titan indicator is picking up. Again, so we're getting strong winds being picked up away from the radar, toward the radar. But now it could be what we call regenerating, recycling. Sometimes it'll do that in a northern part of the storm. Will sort of re-energize, and then you'll get another spin up or another formation of a funnel or tornado south of that. So what, Durgan 215, Colleen?
Yeah, I put that at 30 miles per hour, but it could be moved faster than that. So let me zoom out a little bit here so I could get a better.
Yeah, let me also point out here, so notice the legend at the top. So this is the away. So there are strong winds going away from the radar, and the green is also, so this thing is spinning stronger on its, let's say, northern and northwest flank. So it gains speed as it moves east to west, and then it also has a pretty good shot of wind coming from west to east. But it's just spinning right there south of Highway 43. So Durgan, please head to your safe place. Beckville, I would head to my safe place also. Hopefully you are listening to us on one of our Alpha Media radio partners, Kicks 105, or Ranch, I should say. The Ranch, Kicks 105.7. We also have
Jack FM.
Well, yeah, Jack FM, and you can, if you're in Henderson or Rusk County right now, you can listen. From that vantage point there, this gives you a really good feel for that very intense rotation that we're seeing northeast of Henderson. So you can see how bright that is.
And I was just looking, I wanted to check on and babysit this other,
Okay.
Don't forget, we have this other tornado warning that's in Anderson and Henderson County, and also seeing some tightening out that way too.
So yeah, into Anderson County?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is out by, and let's see if we can get some town names on here.
So we're tracking that. This is going to be the cell that's in Anderson County right now, or moving toward Anderson County. That would be, let's see, as it moves over to, I think that's Cayuga on the Anderson and Freestone County line. And they also have Henderson County in a portion of that tornado warning. That's what southwestern parts of Henderson County. So that's just another part. So yeah, that cell there. And that's moving also about 35 miles an hour. We're that bright green and dark red. So Crossroads 221, we've got Bradford, LaRue, and Pointer at 255. So if it continued, we move up toward Pointer into northeastern Anderson County. This is western parts of Cherokee. That's southwestern parts of Smith County. So carefully watching that cell there. with a tornado warning currently on it. Was the National Weather Service in Fort Worth saying that they're seeing anything in terms of anything on the ground with the Anderson County storm?
UT Health is asking about Athens. They are not seeing anything right now. No. I mean, so really it's Shreveport that's really been active talking about this tornado warning that's out by Martin Lake and Henderson.
All right. Hey, let's go, if the control room can hear me, let's go back to our Nacogdoches camera, our Stephen F. Austin's. Yeah.
Wow, this thing is still.
Yeah. So right in here, that may be, and I'm not sure what I'm seeing there. I mean, it's quite a distance away. That is certainly could be our wall cloud. We're looking up to the northwest from Nacogdoches, or north at this point, as it continues moving east of Henderson. So there you've got, I'm just kind of trying to dissect what's going on here. So certainly looks like there is a lowering right in here from our Nacogdoches camera. Not sure what I'm seeing right there, but that is concerning. I could probably zoom in on that just a little bit.
They're planning to extend this tornado warning to eastern Rusk and northwest Panola too.
All right, so we got a damage update. So let's. All right. So farm to market 1251, we have debris on the ground according to the Rusk County Emergency Manager. So we are now
look at that.
hearing reports.
Nice little,
Is that the debris?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. All right, so let's go back to, there it is. All right, so let's point this out. So this is debris, okay? So there's debris, there's Highway 43. This is just east of New Prospect. Rusk County just reported debris on the ground. There it is. It's showing up, it's being lofted into the air now. So the tornado has lofted some of this debris. It's in the air, it's flying around, and we can pick it up off of our radar. So what the radar is doing is it's distinguishing between rain and something that's not rain, that's non-precipitation. And so that's what it sees there. In fact, there's almost a little bit of green in there. So we might be talking about something that is non-vegetation. Let's hope not. If we get into blues, we're starting to talk about building materials and things of that nature. We would hope that this perhaps hit a treed area, a non-rural area. Perhaps this is all homes, and a new tornado warning now coming out of this. This is going to be the extension, right, for
Yes.
Rusk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rusk and Panola County, and this is going to
let me
go
put this
until
back on.
2:30. So this one went till 2:15. So this has been extended now, and it's really because of this. All right, right there. There's Beckville. So now we're looking upstream from Rusk County into parts of Panola County. So there's Beckville. Beckville, if you're watching, please head to your safe place. Tatum, too close for comfort. I know you're outside the polygon, but if this thing just wobbled back to the north a little bit, I'd be concerned. So
About
yeah.
8 miles southwest of Tatum.
So the storm is now 8 miles southwest of Tatum?
Yes.
Boy, that's not very far at all. That's just 8 miles right in that space there. All right, so let's maybe we sample that again. We were getting, when this started, over 100-mile-an-hour winds. They backed off to about 90, but it still looks like it's a fairly strong signature. Perhaps not as strong as it was, but there it is, gate to gate, back up to 102. So this thing has sort of regenerated and powered back up again. So Beckville, please head to your safe place. Tatum, head to your safe place. Again, just reviewing, if you aren't unsure where to go, if you are just in a house, no windows, try to get away from your windows. Your closet's your best place to be. Your innermost room of your house, maybe that's a bathroom. That's still good if it has no windows. But you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And then when you do that, take the CBS19 app with you, and you can watch us and continue the coverage that we're providing with using the app. And then also, you can keep an eye on what's going on with our CBS19 app radar. We'll have, you get kind of a view to be able to watch the radar. You can watch us, but then you can also switch over and see the radar and come back to us. And then you stay there until we give the all clear. All right, so for instance, Henderson, it's all clear right now. For the time being. We'll see what's happening back with another storm that's to the west in Anderson County.
They just cleared that tornado warning for Anderson County.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay, so zoom back on that and let everybody, so they've dropped they dropped the tornado warning there? That's
Yes.
good news.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, like just southwest of Athens.
All right, let's go back to that Rusk County storm and track that. We'll put a new storm track on that storm so that everybody knows where that's headed. And yeah, you can probably even be a little wider on that. The dashed lines that you're seeing inside the polygon mean that we have a confirmed tornado. And so that confirmed tornado has also produced some damage that we have confirmed from the Rusk County Emergency Manager's Office, and we also saw that on our debris tracker. We could see the debris, which we'll go back to in just a second. But more importantly, I think what we need to do is get everybody an update on where this is headed. All right, Beckville, you are minutes away from this storm moving into Beckville. So please be in your safe place, Delray and Grand Bluff, eventually up toward Elysian Fields. We did have some questions on Elysian Fields earlier this afternoon about possible storms, and this storm, as it really started to get well organized. And again, this is one of these sort of typical storms in that it formed out ahead of the cold front. And here in East Texas, when this happens, you can get supercellular characteristics to a storm like that. And when it does get that type of characteristic, it can begin rotating. If it begins rotating, it can develop stronger updrafts and eventually stronger rotation and eventually a tornado. And that, I believe, is what we've occurred or what we've had this afternoon. At least we are getting damage reports out of Rusk County. So this is continuing to move toward Beckville at this time and will move into Panola County. In fact, right now it is moving into Panola County, and the tornado warning has been extended there until 2:30 for eastern portions of Rusk County and all of Panola County. So the cell itself, is that our damage? Yeah, it's right there. So on our correlation coefficient or our debris tracker, and when I use the term correlation coefficient, what it's doing is it's correlating like-shaped objects or like-sized objects. And so it sorts them into, we'll call it bins. And so when it sees something that is similar, it puts that into one bin. If it sees something dissimilar, it puts it into another color, assigns a color code to it. As that occurs, we can then determine what is meteorological, what is non-meteorological, and from that, the size of the non-meteorological shapes. And so with the correlation coefficient, we have picked up the possibility of debris, or definitely debris. But there's your cell right now. There's Highway 43. This is south and east of Highway 43. And here's Beckville. So this is essentially moving, I think Tatum's up here. So it's trying to move away from Tatum, but still, if you're in Tatum, please be in your safe place as this continues moving within the polygon. We always say respect the polygon. If the polygon is on the map, the polygon is indicating that you've got the possibility of a tornado. All right, so there's the debris. Okay, this is the debris being lofted into the air as the tornado is twisting and pulling. Remember, inside the tornado, you got inflow coming into the tornado, and then the tornado is spinning. There's likely some what we call a rear flank downdraft on the storm, so there's some stronger winds gusting out of the backside of the storm. Oftentimes, that is pulled back into the storm along with inflow. So right in there is where we've seen that tornado warning. All right, and so that tornado warning now is moving out of Rusk County and will soon move into Panola County. So that is a very strong signature. In fact, if we want to sample that again, that looks like that may have picked up again. Sure. No, I can do that. So Colleen is messaging back and forth with the newsroom as we continue to get damage reports, and we continue to get some other reports around the area. So right now, that's about an 87 mile an hour wind or a gate-to-gate shear on that storm, roughly at about 84. So perhaps a slight weakening or perhaps a slight sort of reorganization with the storm. So what I'm looking at here, and I'll circle this for you so you know in case you're watching. So it's right in here is what we're watching. And essentially, the tornado itself is going to be and I'll go back over and we'll turn back on the storm tracks because there's probably, there's the tornado track itself. And that's a little bit behind the storm itself. But remember, this is going to sample some data, and then once that data is sampled, then it correlates that. All right, so even though southwest of Durgan right now, near Durgan is where we have the tornado confirmed on the ground. Here's what we're getting. We're getting a tornado impact now of an 8.6. We had a 10 earlier. That's still very strong. We've got hail within that storm. Wind impact is over an 8. And the velocity back to the west of that, back where we sampled this, was about 27 miles an hour. So once the storm moves out to the east, this is where we're seeing 90 mile an hour winds. So we're still talking about an EF1 tornado. And I hate to use that because we don't know. We haven't had a survey. But those would be winds that would correlate to that type of strength. So we're about to about 100. Now we're back to about 87. That's still, I would consider that a strong, any tornado is strong. But in this case, we are getting some high impacts in terms of the tornado impact being very close to a 10, currently sitting at an 8.5. And right here's Durgan, and right there is the cell itself, and 87-mile-an-hour winds with that. So Durgan, safe place, please be there. Tatum also in your safe place until we know for sure where this storm heads. Beckville, safe place, please. Take your CBS19 app, watch us. I'm going to see if there's any questions off of Facebook. Anybody from out in that area that might be able to give us an idea of what's going on. Yes, Karen's also keeping all those in the path in her prayers. Absolutely. Where is the storm below? All right, we're going to have Rusk County on the phone. Working on it. Okay, we are working on getting Rusk County emergency managers on the phone. Let's go back over to the correlation coefficient. We know we've had some damage right there. So there's still debris being lofted into the storm. So this thing is still tossing damage southwest of Durgan. Okay, so southwest of Durgan, we've got this is going to be, what is that?
County Road 2145, FM 2658. And it looks like it's just outside of FM 2658 was where that debris signature is. Okay,
so if you're watching us from any of these county roads, and let's stay on this because this is going to give everybody in that area a really good idea. If you live on Farm to Market Road 2458 or 2658, please head to your shelter immediately because the tornado is very close. In fact, it may be right on your doorstep right now. And again, or if not, you're getting very strong winds as the tornado is approaching, as it gives us sort of a pre-warning warning on that. But this area in Rusk County and Panola County is under that tornado warning. Is that technically moved over into Panola County right now?
Yeah, so they were saying that it's extending into Panola County, crossing over Martin Lake.
Okay.
Texas 149 between Tatum and Beckville, which we have been mentioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is pretty good to stay in this tight because that way we kind of get a good idea of these farm to market roads that are out there and those county roads. This is probably just crossed to the east of 2145, but 2468 that I can't see with my bad vision. Yeah, or 58.
Yeah, Farm to Market Road 2658
okay,
north.
2658. That's what.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where it is right now. All right, well, so we'll zoom back out a little bit and just kind of give you this idea of where this is. So there's our possible tornado. Our Titan indicator is back here to the west. Remember, it has to correlate the data, so it'll catch up here in just a second. But that's why we use multiple products here when we're tracking these storms. So we're going to use velocity. So this is going outbound away from the Shreveport radar. Inbound is the green going toward the radar, right? So we use that product. We've used correlation coefficients so that we can sort the different types and sizes of the precipitation or objects that are in the sky right now. And we can do that. We can then determine, is this thing lofting debris? If it's lofting debris, it's doing damage. If it's doing damage, it's on the ground. And so that is your tornado right now. And then we've been sampling inside the storm. And the reason that we came on early and broke into programming this afternoon is because we sampled some winds that were over 100 miles an hour. Now, this looks like it just got stronger as it jumps to the east of Durgan. All right, so Durgan, I think you're okay in Durgan right now. All right, so I think Durgan's okay. Beckville, that's too close. I'm going to be in my safe place. It's strengthened again. It's back up to 95 miles an hour in terms of wind shear inside that storm. So we're seeing what would be considered a strong tornado. The debris signature has come down just a little bit, but perhaps what happened was the tornado weakened, it reorganized, now it's starting to strengthen again. So in a sweep or two, we may find a stronger, more identifiable correlation coefficient return on our radar. Okay, so there's Durgan. You're fine there. This Farm to Market Road is just to the west of 149 in Beckville, and that's where there's a little bit of debris still being lofted in the air at this time. That tornado warning for this part of the cell goes until 2:30. And look, it looks. Did that just pick up again? It looks like it just intensified. So I think that may have been what happened. It looks like as the storm intensified, the debris signature returned just a little bit more. Yeah, I think at least from that vantage point is what we're seeing. All right, let's track that again. So Beckville, this particular cell, can you, Colleen, just back that up and sort of go back and forth and kind of rock it back and forth and see maybe where it's headed. I know the Weather Service is saying one direction to the northeast, but let's just kind of track it ourselves. Okay, so it does look like it stays south of Tatum, and then west of Carthage. That's good news. And then Beckville, it stays, to the northwest of Beckville just a little bit.
Yeah, let's see.
And it's looking like it's going to cross Highway 59. So, yeah, it's very close to Beckville.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely too close for
close.
comfort for
Right?
Beckville.
Yeah, too close for comfort for sure. And then Tatum, that's very close to you at this time. There probably, if you were in Carthage, you could probably look back up to your northwest, and you might be able to see the clouds. All right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to be joined with Patrick Dooley from Rusk County Emergency Management. Good afternoon, Patrick. How are you doing?
That's probably going to drop it on me. I'm doing okay. Just kind of running through the roads right now.
Right. Can you tell us what you've found so far in Rusk County? It looks like, according to our radar, that there may be some damage down there.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of trees down, from what I'm understanding, off of State Highway 43 on FM 1251. A lot of rain, a lot of water, a lot of real flooding right now. We've got the fire department out right now going through and looking, checking on stuff.
Do you know, has anybody reported seeing the tornado or a tornado or possible funnel in Rusk County?
Not that I'm aware of so far. We have one 18-wheeler that says he got stuck in the tornado. We're trying to locate him right now. He's supposedly hit a tree.
Oh, wow. Okay. And he's okay as far as you know?
He's okay. He's trying to help us get to him.
Okay. So no injuries that you know of right now?
As of right now, we're still at the end of the system pushing through, so we got a lot of rain. I can maybe see 25 yards ahead of me.
So now we have to also be worried about flash flooding. Not only we have possible damage, we could have flash flooding. We have flash flooding ongoing.
Yeah, we're having a lot of flash flooding right now. When I was coming through the city of Henderson a while ago, you had water covering the streets. I'm on FM 3135 right now, almost at 1251, and same thing. You got a lot of water covering the road in areas.
Okay. So what can Rusk County residents do to help you guys out this afternoon, the rest of the afternoon? All right, we may have lost Patrick Dooley. I'm gonna assume he's gonna say stay off the roads and stay home.
Weather? Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure we stay to the weather.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Patrick Dooley, Rusk County Emergency Management, reporting a number of trees down along Highway 43. Some flooding just in the city of Henderson, out to the east of city of Henderson on some county and farm to market roads. We now have a new flash flood warning ongoing here. Colleen, can we just check out that flash flood warning?
Yeah, this is for Smith County.
Oh, so Smith County.
Smith County, Upshur, and Wood.
All right, so we have a flash flood warning now for Smith County, Upshur, and Wood. That goes until 5:15. So please, again, we've mentioned this several times, do not try to drive through deep water. It doesn't take much. A foot of water can move your car, can sweep it off the road. And water that's rapidly moving is just more powerful than what you anticipate. All right, so let's go back wide, and then we'll zoom in on that tornado warned portion of the storm, just so everybody kind of gets an idea of the lay of the land or what we're seeing here.
Yeah, Brett, just to mention, Charlie's talking about a new cell northwest of Mount Enterprise that is starting to develop rotation. That's currently not under any warning, but that's something that they are watching closely.
All right, so let's check that out. Let's go down into that northwest. So it's going to be this cell right in here.
Enterprise.
Right, Mount Enterprise is right here. So let's go right in there. So it looks like you might be able to see it's just starting to take on a little bit of rotational signature. There's probably inflow moving into that storm. I know. So when we switch over to what we call Doppler radar products, we have to sample. There's two different radars. So we're looking at a radar product out of Shreveport and then again out of Fort Worth. So it looks like there's Mount Enterprise. So it would have to be somewhere in here. So I'm going to guess that they're watching maybe right in there. It's right down into this area here where it could be trying to curl up. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. All right, now our velocity signature did not show anything that was out of the ordinary. Certainly didn't look like it did when it was near Henderson. So let's go back up to this storm, and we'll get the latest track on this. There's Beckville. Beckville's still within the polygon. There's the cell itself. There's the tornado or possible tornado on the ground. Again, at times it can lift. It can regenerate and touch back down again. If it's up in the air, it's a funnel. If it's on the ground, it's a tornado. All right, so that looks like that's a fairly tight couplet that we're seeing, and that is going to cross 149. It does look like it's going to stay southeast of Tatum. So if you live in Tatum, I think you're okay, all right? Now, that's not to say the flash flooding, which is a problem with some of the heavier rain, but that is certainly the cell as it tracks too close to Beckville to be not to be saying, hey, come out of your safe place. I would stay right there. Grand Bluff, DeBerry, Panola, Wascom, Greenwood. All right, those are the areas. And notice how this, what we call the polygon, expands. All right, so that is sort of uncertainty, right? So we know within the next few miles it stays within this sort of range. The farther down we go, the cell could move a little bit farther to the southeast. It could move back to the northwest. So that's why that polygon expands. It's also why when Colleen put that track on it, she started it at the cell. And then as we pull it out, the uncertainty or the possibilities of where it could go also expands. So that's why Grand Bluff has the tornado warning till 2:36, and it's just outside of the polygon. So it's not technically in the polygon, but this whole area as it moves toward 59, it could easily move in that area. All right, so I'm going to toss it over to Colleen Campbell for a minute.
Okay, all right. All right, so everybody, we are tracking this tornado warning that we've had going on. This goes until 2:30. I think Brett walked away with my clicker, though. Brett, do you have? Oh, it's on the desk. All right, so we are looking at this tornado warning. This is for Panola County. This came over from Russ County. There's several areas that we have concern about. Beckville is just moving outside of that. I do want to zoom into this so we can get some of these towns out here and get a little closer. So areas that should be on the lookout, we're looking at over by 149. I wish some of these towns would pop up here, but they don't really want to pop up for me. So let me put this on a track for you guys so you can see a little bit better. Just bear with me. All right, so I'll put it like right about here, 30 miles, 35 miles per hour. And then eventually it's going to go into Louisiana. But Grand Bluff around 227, Elysian Fields 246, Panola around 255, Greenwood 310, and then Flournoy, I think we're starting to get out of our viewing area here, but 316. So again, it looks like the rotation has started to broaden out a little bit, but this is something that we have been paying attention to because it has a history of producing tornadoes, and well, we believe there was a tornado out that way. Also, okay, so we have reports that Russ County Emergency Management is reporting damage. We were just on the phone with Russ County Emergency Management ourselves. Damage along FM 1251 and County Road 262 northeast of Henderson, likely from a possible tornado in Russ County. That was not too long ago. This is actually part of that system that moved over. Now it's moved out to the east. It looks like it did start to weaken a little bit, but we do want to keep our eye on this because we did see some debris signature with this. This isn't as well defined as it was earlier, the debris signature, but we did see a debris signature indicating that we could possibly have some things lofted into the air that wouldn't be rain or hail. And as I go back to velocity radar, again, it looks like this did start to weaken a little bit. It's not as tight rotation, but we are keeping our eye on it just because it has a history of producing tornadoes. So let me turn this watch warning off and see if I can get some of this shear here and see if it got any weaker. Well, we still have 97 mile per hour gate-to-gate shear, so that is still indicating that it is strong. It may have gotten stronger, but this is something that we just have to keep our eye on. Also, another report of damage. Oh, we already mentioned that. Okay, they're just repeating themselves. All right, so yeah, again, we have this tornado warning until 2:30. This goes for Panola County. We have strong gate-to-gate shear. Pretty strong winds in here. We do believe that there was a tornado over in Russ County, and now this moved over into Panola County. And again, the rotation isn't quite as tight, but definitely some strong winds out that way. And let me just turn this watch and warning back on so we have that. And storm tracks. So, yes. That's the only tornado warning that we have right now. We also have some flood warnings. We have a flash flood warning that's for Smith, Upshur, Wood County. That goes until 5:15. There has not been any reports from what we've seen of flooding in Smith County, but that's because we've had significant rain over a short period of time, so the National Weather Service went ahead and issued that. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning over in Freestone, which is just outside of our viewing area. But here's that main line that we've been talking about that we expected to move through around 2, 3 o'clock and causing some trouble out by Panola County and Russ County. Russ County likely at least some severe winds that cause some damage, but the National Weather Service is agreeing with us that likely a tornado, and they probably will be going out to that area to do some survey of any damage. Latest scan of the radar velocity showing some weakening to the circulation that is northeast of Beckville. That's good. We were just talking about that. So we're seeing some weakening here, even though those winds are still pretty strong. Brett, did you want to?
The Beckville part of the storm, as you can see, we're getting a little bit of an increase in intensity there. Perhaps we can maybe click on our Titan indicator here, which was showing us that we had the tornado, or the possibility of the tornado. It was it was a 10 at one point. So if we click on that, we might be able to get an idea of what's going on inside. It looks like the tornado impact coming down on part of the storm. And now this might be, it's either doing one of two things. It's either transitioning back into another supercellular or another tornado, or it's perhaps gusting out. This storm could be just sort of flaring out now and just going to kind of gust itself out as it runs out away from the upper level winds. But it's still technically in the tornado warned area, but certainly doesn't look like there is much of a rotational couplet with it. It looks like more like it's just blowing wind out from one side of the storm, and that could likely be sort of what we'll call the downdraft or the rear flank portion of the storm that's blowing the wind out. Had a question, Colleen, about back to the west toward that storm that was moving toward Athens. Mm-hmm. This storm here, some folks on Facebook wanted to know where this was headed. That curious signature right there is something that I think we should watch, but here's southern parts of Smith County, there's Cherokee County. So I know it's not warned, but what's going on inside the storm? Maybe let's check in on the Titan indicator and see what kind of hail, if there's any hail in there. It doesn't look like there's much of a hail core to that, but it is showing some hail, at least in that part of the storm. Again, that's in the unwarned portion. The probability of it is 100%. The maximum hail size is just below severe limits at roughly, just shy of a quarter. 40% probability of some hail. And now we have a new tornado warning. So let's see where this one pops up for. So this is Beckville. This is going to Panola County till 3 o'clock. So we're extending this out to 3 o'clock. So this is a new update here. The Beckville portion of that tornado warning, even though I said it was kind of gusting out, again, a couple of things could have been going on. Either one is reorganizing. Sometimes these storms reorganize. They get a little better pull together, and then they reform, and then you've got more in the way of another tornado. So
yeah, Brett, they just mentioned they did that solely for the wind signature of that. So that's why they reissued.
Okay.
Just going through the thinking of the National Weather Service here, we communicate with them. We're very grateful to be working with them. And they said that they're the ones that issue these polygons after all. But,
yeah.
They said that they issued that, even though it has less organization than it did earlier, it does have a strong wind signature.
Yeah, it looks like it's really just flaring out in terms of
all right,
wind.
We have reports of a tornado reported by law enforcement near Mount Enterprise.
Okay.
We got a new tornado warning that's coming out in seconds for
Mount Enterprise?
Mount Enterprise.
Southern Russ County. Let's go down to that. So it's going to be right in here. All right, so.
I don't know why this isn't popping up on the radar.
Yeah, it's not, well, right in there. Well, that would be north of Mount Enterprise. They would have to be that cell there. That's very curious. Do they maybe mean back here? There's nothing on radar that really shows. So there it is. Okay, so they're going to warn on that portion of the storm. That's north of Mount Enterprise. Okay, so that's a new tornado warning. Okay, if you're in Dotson, you need to head to your safe place. We'll go in here on velocity and try to track this. This is sort of right there. Oh my, look at that. Yeah, you've got a pretty tight signature there just west of 315. Remember, Colleen, back on March 22nd or March 21st that night.
There it is. Gate to
yeah,
Beach here, 102
miles an hour. So this is put down probably another another tornado northwest. Or do you remember this area here was hit during the March 21st night of the
Oh, yeah.
tornadoes?
Yeah.
So this is in that same exact area. So folks there, please, I know there are a lot of folks that live in some mobile homes there. Please, at this point, you can't get out. You need to shelter inside and try to be as safe as possible. If you're downwind of this and you are in a mobile home, say if you're in Dotson and you have time, I would get out and I would head towards sturdier shelter. There it is. So this is what, 315, I believe. So that's 315, Highway 315. There's 259. It's crossed over 259. Sheriff's deputies reporting a tornado. So we don't have the hatches on that saying that it's observed, but we are seeing a tornado warning that's been issued as this moves again to the east at 40 miles an hour. So if you're in Dotson, please head to your safe place. And this again is the area that we're watching right here. All right, so if you live on 315 anywhere in parts of southern Rusk County, head to your safe place now, okay? Because anywhere northeast of Mount Enterprise, you are in this zone where this tornado could move overhead. I wonder if we could switch then to debris tracker and see if there's anything that is showing up there.
Charlie just said there's RVs lofted in the air north of Mount Enterprise with the new circulation that is warned.
Okay, so it's right in there. So right there is where we're seeing a little bit of debris. So that's going to be debris. There's going to be a tornado right here. There's Mount Enterprise. This is northwest of Mount Enterprise. If you live in Mount Enterprise and you can do safely, I would not drive to the storm, but if you can look north and you can snap a picture of what that sky looks like, besides the heavy rain, so please be safe before you even try this. Snap a picture and share that with us. Go to our CBS19 app, hit that Near Me button, and then share that with us so we can see. We can share that with the Weather Service so they know. Let's go back to velocity. Right in there is where your tornado warned portion of the storm is. Again, CBS19 app. If you're in your safe place at Dotson, take your app with you. Watch this. Somebody was asking us about the storm back toward Athens, but we said that one was tracking towards southern Smith County, but also it was below severe limits at this time. So this is the concern right now. Weather Service was watching this a lot earlier. This again, Mount Enterprise is down here. So let's widen this out and perhaps give everybody kind of an indication as to sort of the lay of the land here. So there's Mount Enterprise, right? There's Dotson. There's Laneville. Laneville was hit by a tornado earlier last month, or 2 months ago, back in March now. And then so this is going to be right along the highway. And I don't think, unless we zoom really close in here, there might be a couple of small towns right near that circulation. And there is some debris being lofted with that. But some of the county roads you're looking at include County Road
3144, County Road 3153 South.
And 317.
County Road 3142.
Okay, so if you live on any of those, please go to your safe place. East County Road 3144, safe place now. 3131 South, safe place now. So please get to those safe places as soon as you can. There's a tornado that is at least been observed by sheriff's deputies north of Mount Enterprise, right here. This is what we're tracking. This tornado warning goes until 3:15 for Panola and Rusk County. All right. Colleen had sampled the winds inside that storm, and we were picking up gate-to-gate shear on that storm, or possible winds in excess of 100 miles an hour. And there they are again, 102 miles an hour. So that's a strong couplet right now, and that could be producing another tornado. We have seen a little bit of a debris signature east of 259. We're going to get a new scan in here, and it's going to jump, and you'll be able to see where it heads in just a second. But this is certainly tightening up and looks relatively strong as compared to other circulations that you'll see from time to time. So there's your tornado right here. Green is going toward the radar in Shreveport. Red is going away. There is Highway 259 and then 315. Okay. So if anybody was driving toward Mount Enterprise on 259, call them, tell them to stop. If you know anybody that wants to leave Mount Enterprise and head up toward Henderson, don't leave. Okay. Dotson, you need to be in your safe place. If you're in 84 headed west toward Mount Enterprise, stay where you are, okay? I would shelter. Just because, again, that box or that polygon, look how it expands. So we have uncertainty as to where this storm goes. Does it follow a straight line like this? Does it sag a little bit farther to the south? Because of that, the uncertainty grows downwind a little bit, and we have that uncertainty enough to tell you to stay in your safe place. All right, we're tracking that storm moving out to the northeast at about how fast?
Let me see.
What do they say? I think there's
Like 35.
35, 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Alexis wants to know about anything in Carthage. Of course, if you're watching us on air, we're also online. We're streaming via our CBS19 mobile app. We're streaming on our website, and we're also on Facebook. So if you have a question for us, you can shoot over to Facebook and ask us that question. We'll try to answer that. But we're staying on air here because we do have a tornado warning until 3:15 for Panola and Rusk County, and just had a new tornado warning that was issued for that cell there, southwest of Brockfield, until 3:15. There's Dotson. Dotson needs to be in your safe place. I would say also Brockfield into their safe place. And Carthage, somebody was asking anything in Carthage. Heavy rain right now in Carthage, but all eyes down to your southwest in Carthage. Just kind of keeping an eye on the radar, watching us, watching the CBS19 radar app. If we do have a warning that extends up into Carthage, then we will let you know, and we'll tell you to get to your safe place as soon as possible. Yes, Panola County is under a tornado warning, but the tornado warning is essentially this very far southwestern corner. There is on reflectivity what we would call a hook echo. So there is a hook echo showing up. It's not quite textbook. Saw some textbook ones a couple years ago that impacted Mount Enterprise, but that is a pretty good reflectivity signature of winds coming in and then winds being pushed around and pushed out away from that rotating, what we'll call a mesocyclone or a thunderstorm in layman's terms. But that mesocyclone or slow or small area of low pressure, meso meaning small, cyclone, low pressure, or anti or a counterclockwise rotation right in here. So right there's your inflow. Right here is where the storm is cycling. This could be, if it was a little bit farther to the south, I'd call this what we call the rear flank downdraft, gusts of wind that are pushed down out of the storm because it's heavier. Then they are pulled back into the storm. At the same time, you'll have low-level wind flow coming into the storm, and it can strengthen. So right in that area there. All right, we are going to join the Rusk County Sheriff, John Wayne Valdez, who joins us this afternoon. And John Wayne, how you doing this afternoon?
Been better.
Yes, we appreciate you taking time to take time and share with us what have you seen so far in Rusk County, and what can you tell us?
Well, I just left the Tatum area. A lot of trees down, relatively heavy damage. I've been diverted because the tornado touched down on 259 South at the Whispering Pines RV Park.
So
there's several people that are injured down there. We're heading with ambulances, fire apparatus, and every other unit I have left. And it's on the ground, currently headed toward the Minden-Brockfield area, and it's relatively large.
So we have a large tornado right here. That would be west of Dotson, south of Pine Hill then, right in here where we have our radar up currently. So you said the Whispering
Pines RV Park is on 259,
right?
just south of 1798.
So there is damage there and injuries? Oh, my.
There are injuries.
We hate to hear
There's
that.
a couple of RVs overturned and cabins overturned.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's where initially the tornado warning was issued. Now, so one of the sheriff's deputies saw the tornado, right, or observed a tornado? That's how this warning was put into effect?
Yes.
Okay, and whereabouts, where did he see that tornado?
It actually touched down on 259 at the Whispering Pines RV Park.
Oh, okay, that's where it touched down.
He watched it head toward 1798 in a northeasterly pattern.
Wow, okay, and then from there, now you're saying it's still on the ground and it's quite large. Can you observe it?
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm on 259 South. I'm at County Road 308 headed that direction.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing from now on our Facebook, mobile homes flipped just south of Mount Enterprise on 259, says Josh Rhodes. All right, so that tells us that we have a serious situation here as it moves into eastern parts of Rusk County and into Panola County. Thank you very much,
Correct.
Sheriff John Wayne Valdez. We appreciate it. Please be safe.
Very welcome.
All right. So again, to recap, the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park, we have reports of damage and injuries there. as the tornado touched down right here near 259. This is an area, I believe, back in March that it was very close to that same mobile home or RV park, very close to that where the tornado touched down back in March. And so again, another tornado has touched down in that same area, and this warned storm, now he's saying that it is very large and it's still on the ground. So what we're looking at here would be that possible area west of Dotson. So if you're in Dotson, you need to get to your safe place as soon as possible. 3:15 is what time this tornado warning goes until, so that's about a half hour to 45 minutes. Look at the debris. Okay, so there's debris all over the place. So that would be certainly, that confirms that we probably have mobile homes flipped, and then you have that blue right there, that's going to be building material. So that is lofted into the air northwest of Dotson. This whole thing is just sort of spread out. So it looks like it could be a rather large, or at least a large circulation with a large embedded tornado inside of that. So that is really concerning to see that. Several areas of lofted debris. So let's go back to the velocity signature there. And so it's right here. So that's where the tightest part of the rotation is. That's why, and you can see the dropouts on velocity. So the dropouts on velocity indicate that it's no longer there's something that's falling straight down or being lofted that's blocking the pulse or the beam from going out. And there are several different areas where that's occurring. So we'll go back to velocity, or we are on velocity right now. We'll go back to our debris indicator, and we'll be able to show you right there, near 3:15. So this tornado is just tossing debris around. So this is why it's very important, if you're in Dotson, you need to be sheltered right now. Please do not wait. And again, we talked about this in Dotson. If you were in a mobile home or any type of RV or camper, that you needed to get to your safe place. And it may be at this point a little too late to do that. You need to hunker down. There's debris that Colleen is circling there. This is 315 Highway. There's Mount Enterprise. There's debris north and east of Mount Enterprise. This could be associated with the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park where it hit. And now that debris is just kind of being lofted as the tornado moves up to the north and to the northeast. There's several areas where there is debris showing up. Let's go back to velocity. There's more debris. So there's several areas where we're seeing that. And here is our essentially our biggest area of concern, where that velocity is pretty tight. Now, we could try to sample that, but what might be happening here is we could be sampling too high into the thunderstorm, and the tornado itself is on the ground. The debris signature actually gives us a better view of that. Or let's go back to reflectivity. If we continue to see that hook echo right in there, all right, so now we have this hook echo. There's a tornado right in here, west of Dotson, and it's been observed by a sheriff's deputy. We know it's on the ground. We know it's done damage. So we really need to continue to be in our safe place and staying there for the next half hour. This is County Road 3122. It is just right there. So it's 3120. It is right over 3122. Please, please go to your safe place right now. This is going to be moving up to the northeast. Let's track that again, Colleen, toward Dotson. I think this is moving roughly east-northeast, probably about 35 or 40 miles an hour, right?
Yes.
All right, so Flint skies went black, pouring. Kind of reading some other comments here. Are we okay in Henderson? Yes, in Henderson you are okay. That storm has moved off to your south. Anything in Carthage? Carthage, we need, again, you need to keep your eyes out to the southwest. All right, so you're looking at Dotson, Buncombe, Carthage. Now Carthage is showing up. If this were to maintain its intensity and strength, it would be right here, going up to Carthage, and that would likely take it up there toward 314. I know if you follow the center line of this target area, it would go toward Buncombe and stay south of Carthage. But again, a little wobble back to the north, and it's on line for Carthage. A little wobble down to the south, Grant City or Gary City would become involved in that. Dotson is the most pressing concern right now, and any county road that is west of Dotson, any small area west of Dotson. Pine Hill, you're fine. Mount Enterprise, you're also fine. You can come out of your safe place right now. But if you live in southwestern Panola County or eastern, almost southeastern parts of Rusk County, you need to stay in that sheltered place. Timpson, let's keep an eye on that. We'll see if anything else develops off to your west. This area here was really one of the areas that I had more concern about this afternoon, because if it remained untapped in terms of thunderstorms this morning, this is where the energy would build. And so this is where the energy has certainly gained its greatest strength with that cell. Again, that's impressive. Now it looks like some of the debris is scattered out of this. It's not as impressive in those debris signatures, but there is still some debris being lofted right here toward Dotson. There's also debris showing up at Mount Enterprise, but that likely could be tossed out of the thunderstorm, floating, or out of the tornado and floating back down to the ground, back to the southwest of the main circulation itself, because the main circulation is now moving into Dotson, northwest of Dotson, so very close to Dotson at this time. There's Pine Hill, there's Dotson, and that light green area here. So we can zoom in on that and maybe get some county roads, some folks zoomed in on that, and kind of give them an idea of where this could be going. Looks like a little dropout on reflectivity right over Dotson. I'm not sure that I like to see that signature. That means either there's strong inflow coming there or something's trying to spin up over Dotson. So that would be something that we need to watch carefully. Okay, widen that out just a little bit. Oh, there it. Okay, so yeah, I lost where the signature was there in terms of the hook. So I think Dotson might be okay. It could be just in this little void here. So Dotson, you still need to be in your safe place. There's some gusty winds out ahead of that toward Lawsonville. Perhaps what's happening is the winds are being wrapped or being pushed out from the backside, and that helped to accelerate or accentuate this circulation here. It's right to the east of 315 right now. That goes until we have another half hour on this tornado warning. But Colleen, can we go back to velocity?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go back to velocity. And I don't see it on the hook echo, so I'm not sure where the disconnect is, because right there now it looks like perhaps it's thrown out some strong winds to the northeast. So that's interesting to see one signature and not correlate with another. And the other debris signature also did not look to be about the same. If we can, let's go to our Nacogdoches camera. We'll show you the sky. Actually, we're looking more toward the northeast. The clouds have they've kind of raised just a little bit. So I don't see as much lowering, maybe off to this side a little bit more. And I can certainly try to pan that around to that side. This is going to be the closest camera that we have to any of those storms down there.
Yeah, and for anybody that's wondering about the tornado watch, we had a couple areas dropped from the tornado watch a little early. So Rains and Van Zandt and Hopkins County have all been dropped from the tornado watch. I was supposed to go from until 6 p.m. So that's some good news for those areas out there. But we still have a tornado watch for the rest of the viewing area until 6 p.m. But
right.
The Rains, Van Zandt, and Hopkins have been dropped from that. Looks like they're going to cancel this tornado warning, one of those in Panola. So now we just have one tornado warning in Panola. And that's one that we have been focusing on lately with this hook echo.
All right, let's go back to the radar. We'll get you caught up to date on that portion of it. So it's right here. So another portion of the Panola County tornado warning was allowed to expire. This portion here remains, even though it says Rusk County. I think they're going to drop the Rusk County portion of it as this jumps over into Panola County. But Dotson still needs to be in the safe place at this time. So this is a current radar at 2:47 here on this Thursday afternoon, May 5th, and we have tornado warnings that have been ongoing since this afternoon, since we cut in on an advanced warning for the one that was east of Henderson, which was indicating some very strong wind shear within that storm. So we came on before the National Weather Service even issued a tornado warning for that cell, just to try to give you advance warning.
It looks like they're going to allow this one to expire a little early too,
This
Brett.
This one's going to expire also. Yeah, It's interesting because when you look at that hook echo or maybe inflow into that, then you look at the velocity. Go back to the velocity. We'll show you what we mean. There's really virtually nothing there unless, zoom in back there to 350. That could be just something that's kind of All right, we've got multiple reporters heading down to Whispering Pines RV Park, where we have reports of injuries and damage down there. That's right on 259 highway, I believe, either north or south of Mount Enterprise. I'm not real sure exactly where. I thought it was just to the northwest. It might just be southeast. But this last tornado warning that we have right now that's just been allowed to expire started essentially right in here. And then it was a very strong tornado, and Sheriff John Wayne Valdez said it was on the ground quite large as it moved across eastern parts of Rusk County and then into Panola County. But now it looks like it has weakened somewhat. All right, Colleen, since that tornado warning has expired, let's widen everything back out about as wide as we can go so we can give everybody sort of a perspective of what's going on here. Okay. We'll widen out, it's kind of our whole viewing area. So we still have a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for Anderson County. That's going to track into Cherokee County. Anywhere you see one of these little red to purple polygons, these are flash flood warnings. We have lots of flash flood warnings. That was the other part of the story that we were concerned about. Anything that you see red underneath there, that's the tornado watch that goes until 6 o'clock. So right now, the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have is this in Anderson County and southeastern parts of Henderson County. And now that is just now pushed over into Jacksonville and pushed over into Tyler. I'm going to switch our camera over to the Tyler view because I want to be able to see what it looks like from our Chase Bank building camera here. And it sounds like it's raining heavily outside the television station. So let's go back to the camera. Let's go to the camera. I'll probably do a little camera tour here. So as we switch off of radar back to the camera, and what we'll look at, okay, so that's looking north, and it looks like we've just got rain. Nothing concerning on that view. That's looking north up Broadway. And now we'll go from another vantage point here from our CBS19 studio camera, and we'll switch that over, and we will be looking in this vantage point this time. It will also look, I believe, more to the east, and so hopefully we'll be able to see from that vantage point. All right, we have power outages. We have 1,000 power outages in Smith County right now. So lots of reports of power outages, likely from lightning. There's been a lot of lightning, maybe some wind associated with that cell or with those cells that we've seen this afternoon. I'm trying to switch over here to our other camera, and it may not allow me to do it. Looks like we may have locked up our camera here. Let's try this. Okay, well there it is. All right, so we're now looking. So this is going to be the loop going to the east, up toward Green Acres. Right now it doesn't look. It just looks gray. It's rainy, so I'm not seeing any features that we'd be particularly concerned about. I can turn this around to the west and see if we look to the west if we see anything. I would not. There, to the southwest we do have, that stronger cell that's trying to come in from the west. And as that cell moves in, it may cause some concern, but let's investigate that by turning our camera around to the west side. So we're going to go off to the west. You'll see this change here in just a second. In the meantime, just one severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for Anderson County, but we do have flash flood warnings for Smith, Upshur, and Wood County. Anderson, Freestone, Henderson County is also in that severe thunderstorm warning, and that goes until 3:30. So that's what we have right now. I'm going to show you our camera here in just a second. You're going to see some lightning. This is going to be looking north up Troop Highway, and you'll see a bunch of lightning flashes just kind of flashing over here in the distance. So this is where the darker part of the next part of the storm is coming in. So as that comes in, we'll have another downpours of rain, some lightning. As Colleen pointed out, the tornado watch was dropped for Van Zant and I believe Henderson County, Upshur, or not Upshur, Hopkins?
Hopkins and Rains.
Hopkins.
Van Zant, Hopkins, Rains.
Oh, Van Zant, Hopkins, and Rains. So we're still waiting. I think after this batch or this push of rain moves through Smith County, you're going to start to see Smith. You may see Wood, and then you'll start to see other counties closer to Smith County dropped from the tornado watch as the bigger threat starts to push off to the south and to the southeast. All right, let's go back to the radar. And what we may do is stay on till about 3 o'clock, and then if there are no other warnings issued, we'll continue streaming and then keep an eye on all of these cells, and then if we have to come back on, of course we certainly would. So we have the severe thunderstorm warning till 3 o'clock for Anderson, Freestone, Henderson County. All right, so there's Henderson, southeastern part of Henderson County. Palestine getting heavy rain right now. They have not pushed this into Cherokee County. We're just putting this radar into motion. There might be a little bit of hail in there, could be some wind. My bigger concern has kind of come to fruition here over parts of southern Rusk and Panola County. But I'm still a little concerned about southern Cherokee, Nacogdoches County, Shelby, and Angelina County. Because if we pan this up here to the north a little bit, Colleen, these cells here, which don't look all that impressive right now, are running into areas where there is sunshine. All right, can you see that? They're just little puffy, billowy clouds right now at Lufkin. So these cells here are moving into all of this available energy, and we still have another push of wind that will come in from the west and southwest, right where Colleen is circling that, late this afternoon. This is essentially your 4 to 6 o'clock game. All right, so we call it the second half of the doubleheader. So right in here is where you could see another flare-up of severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes. So by no means is the entire area, or are you, if you live in Groveton or Lufkin or Crockett or Nacogdoches or Center or Hemphill, and right now you've been saying, where's the rain? Well, this, I believe, is going to sharpen up and then move to the east, and it's going to find an atmosphere that's virtually untapped. And so this is going to become rather problematic after about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. And that'll take us till about 6 or 7. The tornado watch goes until 6 o'clock. So if these are going to make some problems, they're going to be picking up steam, and I think they're going to move rapidly. The cold front itself now appears that it is just moving into eastern Henderson, western Anderson County. So if there's the front, so as the front starts to move now to the east, these counties to the west, then flash flood warnings would remain the biggest concern. But as each county sees the rain end, then those will likely be dropped from the tornado watch. Flash flood warning for Smith, Upshur, and Wood County, that goes until 5:15. Remember, flash flood warnings are always going to last longer than the severe thunderstorm warnings because it's going to take a couple of hours for the water to recede. But we've got flash flood warnings going on across much of the area, and we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Anderson and northwestern Cherokee County, and now into southeastern parts of Smith County. So we'll watch, let's zoom in on this area here. This has moved through White House where they've had a ton of rain. This is moving out, there's Troop. So Troop, you're about to get a gusty wind. White House is sitting right now in some heavy rainfall. Mount Selman, the rain is starting to let up at Frankston. Overton, the rain will pick up. Henderson, you're going to have, even though I don't think this is going to be as severe as that first round that came through Henderson, you're going to have another round of some heavy rainfall. And that's going to come through in about, let's see, it's almost 3 o'clock now, probably about 4 o'clock, so in about an hour. All right. Gerald wants to, he's in California, any updates? Well, we still have a tornado watch until 6 o'clock, and we have no more tornado warnings in our area, but a severe thunderstorm warning for Henderson and Anderson County. All right, we're gonna go to a live picture from Henderson. Our reporters are on their way to the RV park in southern Rusk County. So they are moving out of Henderson right now. You can see the skies are still threatening, and they will be for the next couple of hours. Again, like I said, we have another cell that is west of Henderson that's going to move in there. Right now, that's an unwarned cell. I don't think that's going to become more because we basically have about used up all the energy we had available today in Rusk County. But what it will do is that now it could add to the flash flooding threat that we'll see. You can see the cells and the storm clouds that are moving away and all of that heavy rain. And a lot of folks are still out, even on this tornado watched sort of afternoon in Rusk County. So let's see. Beckville is being reported as out of power. Getting reports of Tyler and White House with lightning. Henderson County, somebody was asking about. Center Texas update. We can go back and check that out in just a second, but we're just giving you this live picture from inside Henderson, in Henderson. And here's another view now. I'm not sure where this view is from. This might be getting to the Whispering Pines mobile harbor. It looks like that is an RV or a tractor trailer. There was a report of a tractor trailer that was knocked over just to the right side. Yeah, to the right side of the TV
It's an
screen.
RV home, I think.
Is that an RV home? Okay, it looks like, yeah, it looks like an RV home. So is this in the area of the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park? Yeah. So our reporters have just made it to the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park. There's the sheriff's deputy, and they're going to slowly approach, but we had damage. This is where we believe that the tornado touched down and immediately did damage, and it prompted the tornado warning in that area of Rusk County. There's also reports of some other damage reported in that area. The tornado warning that was associated with this cell as it moved into Panola County allowed to expire at this time. So now we're going to see if our reporter...
Look at the trees even. You can just see like some of the tree tops are snapped off there.
Yeah.
Just at the like really top of that one tree.
Oh yeah,
Like,
look, it's bent over, kind of broken over, snapped at the top.
Yeah, a couple trees. There we go. We can see. It looks like they're moving up.
Yeah, I think Sheriff John Wayne Valdez said there was lots of tree damage, which, I mean, I'd rather have tree damage than home damage, but that is certainly a possibility with a storm like this. Yeah, now I'm looking at we have another thunderstorm warning that was just issued. All right, so that's going to, okay. So we're going to keep this view up here so that you can see what's happening here with our reporter and our crew that is out in the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park area near 259 South near Mount Enterprise. All right, so this portion of the cell was just warned for a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be just a small portion of Harrison and Panola County till 3:45. But essentially, this is being, I think, more warned for the parishes over on the Louisiana side, so Caddo and DeSoto Parish. And a new severe thunderstorm, we just talked about this, Jacksonville to Rusk. Here comes a new severe thunderstorm with the dashed lines in there. Colleen, is this a considerable wind threat here?
Yeah.
It's coming back in? Okay.
Yeah, area of, well, that's Panola County, I'm sorry. I just saw it on here. Wait a second.
So when you see the dashed lines, it either means two things. It means tornado possible tag, or it means that they have a considerable wind threat in excess of 70 miles an hour. Looking at this signature here, we might be looking at a possible tornado.
Yeah, they're saying, yeah, it's tornado possible, wind 60 mile per hour. Radar indicated hail about 1.25 inches in diameter. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at the velocity signature on that. The hail doesn't look, or at least it's not picking up on our reflectivity, but yeah, we'll need to keep an eye on this for sure. So there's Laneville, there's Rusk, there's a little brighter feature here, and then that will come off here. So Jacksonville to Rusk, so it's kind of rather broad rotation. If you want to sample any one of those areas, looks like there might be something trying to get going in there, southwest of Jacksonville, northwest of Rusk. So we were gonna break away at 3 o'clock without any tornado warning, but now that they've issued this severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado tag, given what we've seen so far this afternoon, I don't think that's a wise choice. 56 to 60 mile an hour winds inside that. 58 mile an hour winds is considered a severe thunderstorm, so we do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now northwest of Rusk to Jacksonville. We'll get a track on that for you and show you where that portion of the cell is headed. It's trying to sort of line up, trying to give us an indication right in here. See that right there? So now if there's hail in there, that could be a little three-body scatter strike where it's bouncing off the hailstone, and then, but we need to watch that. We did not see just much on velocity here just a second ago. Let's track from here out toward Mount Enterprise. We know people already over in Mount Enterprise have been hit once today, but they're going to have some heavy rain move back into Mount Enterprise for a second time. So Gallatin, 303, Rusk, 311, Reclaw, 324. Again, I'll start at the top. These are the cities that are in the path of this next severe warned storm. Potential 60 mile an hour winds, maybe some hail bigger than quarters, though I don't see a whole lot of hail indication in there, and the possibility that this quickly spins up. So Gallatin, Rusk, Reclaw, head to your safe place now. Laneville, also back to your safe place. Cushing, Delray, Carthage, keep an eye on this, all right? So Gallatin, safe place. You need to be there as fast as possible. Rusk and Reclaw also into your safe place. All right, let's go back to the velocity signature. Just based on what we're seeing there, another flash flood warning has been issued. So this is the portion of the storm that we're looking at. Again, that might go. It could start to tighten up just a little bit. This other area that you see out here, we have a flash flood warning going on right now east of Jacksonville up through Henderson. So not only do you have the possibility we could have another tornado spin up here southwest of Mount Enterprise. If you live in Mount Enterprise, please go to your safe place. This Whispering Hills Mobile Home Park does not want to see this right now. That is not what we want to see, is this sort of signature trying to do something, trying to form. We kind of thought, or I thought, that just because we'd already worked this area over with a tornadic thunderstorm already, that perhaps we didn't have enough energy, but we might get something there. So it looks like they're at 58 mile an hour. Let's hope that's where that stays. 58 mile an hour wind gust, I think we can sustain. We start talking about winds in excess of 100 miles an hour with a tornado, then we've got some big time problems. But if I'm in Rusk, I'm just going to safely go to my safe place now and ride out the rest of the storm from there. Even Jacksonville, even though I think Jacksonville, this is more of a heavy rainfall event for you. You're north of where this circulation could be trying to spin up. But Rusk, let's zoom in on Rusk. There it is, down to 49 miles an hour with that velocity. Let's hope that trend continues. We're going to zoom in here on Rusk. Just out to the northwest of Rusk, there's Highway 84, and that's Dialville. Okay, so Dialville, you need to be in your safe place. You're just on the sort of northern tip of that. If you're out on what is that highway? That's 84 or 110?
Yeah, 84 that turns into 110, and Highway 69.
Yeah, any of those, you live anywhere near those highways, yeah, you need to get into your safe place. Right to the west of Rusk, okay, there's another, okay, so the new reflectivity just came in. Here, I'll point this out here. So there's strong inflow coming into the storm here. So there's likely some very strong winds crossing Highway 84. And then you're getting this push out here to the west. So let's keep an eye right on this area. Here's Dialville. So Dialville, please go to your safe place right now. Even though this is just a severe warned storm, it's just severe thunder. I don't want to say just the severe thunderstorm warning, because we had severe thunderstorm warnings with the White House storm. We had 100 mile an hour winds. Plus, occasionally you will get a severe thunderstorm that will produce a tornado, and it can happen quickly. All right, so even though you have a severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be probably headed to your safe place. New severe thunderstorm warning coming now to us. This is going to be for that extension of the storm over toward Carthage. So this is this little part of the cell for Panola County till 3:45. All right, so that's 3:45. That's for about the next 40 minutes. We'll go back over toward the Cherokee County storm and keep an eye on that Cherokee County storm. This cell here, it looks like they might have a tornado possible on that. Colleen, is that right?
Yeah, mm-hmm. The one that was just warned.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's why they put those dashed lines through there. So two reasons. Either you have winds in excess of 70 miles an hour, or there's enough rotational signature that you might have another tornado being spun up. So that's certainly possible. But right now, our gate-to-gate shear is about 56 miles an hour. That is not totally impressive, but it is impressive in terms of getting a severe thunderstorm warning out of that, because the severe thunderstorm warning starts at 58 miles an hour, but you don't know how exact or how precise your sampling of that particular part of the cell, that pixel, for instance, because it moves. Everything's moving. So if you're a radar operator, you're going to warn sometimes. So sometimes you're going to warn based on algorithms of where that storm is going to go, possibly what could happen, and then you warn downstream of that, and it's all in the name of safety. All right, we'll go back here to this storm that's near Rusk, and again, I'm not sure how much more rain we can take in Henderson, but we are about to get blasted with more rain here. This looks a little better. I don't see as much of a signature on that cell there near Highway 69 in Rusk, but that is really in that flash flood warned area. So that continues. Let's see, I'm going back. Now we're on air on CBS19. We're also streaming on our CBS19 app. We're also streaming on Facebook and streaming on YouTube. So you can watch us in any one of the varieties of ways. And let's say this happens. Let's say that we issue a tornado warning and you have to go to your safe place. Take your CBS19 app with you, right? I have radar up right now, so you can watch radar. You can watch us do our live stream. You can interact with us on Facebook by asking us questions, and we will try to answer those as best as possible. So sometimes I'm talking to someone, and that's what I'm doing. Even though we're live on air, we're also kind of giving you sort of a three-pronged approach, or maybe even four-pronged approach. But Gerald Britton says, thank you for the updates. My wife and kids have no power. And I heard of a touchdown in Beckville. All right, we're checking that out. Not 100% sure. Somebody wanted an update on Center, Texas. We'll check that out. I think Center is still maybe an hour or two away from getting the brunt of this storm, but it certainly is possible. All right, so there's Mount Enterprise. We already had reports of damage and injuries near Whispering Pines, and now we have a new tornado warning. All right, so where's this one going to be? Is this going to be They're going to issue again on this cell here near Carthage. So.
Are out that way. I'm going to tell them to.
Okay. All right. I will take over. I will drive from here. All right. So what we're going to do is look at the velocity on this signature. As we look at the cell, we've got that tornado warning that's ongoing. And all right. So there it is. There's why you have that tornado warned area of that storm southwest of Carthage. All right. So here you go. This area here has tightened up with the rotation. There's Highway 59. There's Gary City. Gary City, you're okay. Carthage, let's go to our safe place. Just wait for this to pass, get over Highway 59, get to your east, and then you'll be okay. So this tornado warning goes until 3:30. So it doesn't last a long time. It's 3:08 right now. But it's enough of a circulation where there could be something crossing 59 that we would have another tornado touching down. So I'm going to check out our correlation coefficient. In fact, what I'm going to do is take away the storm motion out of this, and it tightens up that velocity signature just a little bit better. But I'm not seeing much in the way. There's a little bit of maybe some straight line winds, not a ton of debris, maybe some hail within that cell. Yeah, certainly some hail that's in that cell right now. So I'd say more of a hailer than a tornado threat at this time. There's some hail back here to the southwest of Carthage. There's your tornado warning. Again, with that tornado, a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado tag possible. And I'm going to turn back on our Titan indicator and kind of give us an idea of what we might be looking at, and if anything pops up on that. Doesn't look like anything. It's up to the northeast of that. So, yeah. All right, so that we keep that tornado warning going for that part of the cell there, just to the southeast of Carthage. I'll zoom in. It looks like it's on the southeast part of the loop. In Carthage, there's 149, there's 59. All right, so this is a pretty good indication of where we need to be. So here's 59, there's the loop 149, here's downtown Carthage, there's your circulation. There's North St. Mary Street, it's south of that. It's working its way northeastward. Looks like it's going to stay southeast of the loop and southeast of the main city center of Carthage. But if you live out south and east of Carthage, please go to your safe place right now. We don't have a confirmed tornado with this, but what we do have is the possibility that we could spin one up. And so that is certainly worth enough for you to take your safe place. I'm going to ping in on this a little bit, see what kind of sampling we get. In order to do that, we'll turn off the warnings, and then we'll show you what we're looking at here. Inside that green and that red, we're seeing maybe 70-mile-an-hour winds. All right, so that could be 70-mile-an-hour winds could be a weak tornado. That's something that we have to keep an eye on. Let's see, on this other part of the storm, 57-mile-an-hour winds. So we could be looking at some gusty winds. It could also, it doesn't look like it's a fairly, let's call it a wide circulation. There's a bit of the circulation here. All right, you're looking at some pictures here. I believe that's going to be the RV park. I think that's Whispering Pines. That's where the damage has been reported. I believe that's north of Mount Enterprise near 259. That's where that tornado touched down and then started to move across Rusk County. All right, this just got a new scan in on this cell, and it has slowly moved across Highway 59. So it looks like this is a broad rotation here over the east side of Carthage right now. Hey, Colleen, Weather Service isn't saying anything about Carthage being or seeing anything currently, right?
Nothing that I'm seeing for. They're talking a lot about Louisiana.
Some of the cells.
So far, no.
Okay.
Nothing for Carthage.
All right, some questions that we're getting. Tyler, Texas update. We can do that for folks. I think for the most part, Tyler, Texas is looking at some rain and thunderstorms. Okay, here's a full. Now you're looking at the picture there. There's a. We just saw a brief glimpse of a trailer that was turned over on its side, and you can continue to see that as I widen the radar back out. We're still getting areas of rotation within the cells, but I'm going to turn off the storm track here. We're going to put this into motion so we can play this out here. And you'll get an idea now that the front is starting to push south and eastward. So what's going to happen in Tyler? Rain. Just rain. I think the severe weather threat's over in Tyler. What's going to happen down here? Southern Rusk County, again, Nacogdoches County. This is the area that I have the next concern for. Nacogdoches County, Angelina County, Houston, Trinity County, Southern Cherokee County. This whole area here is moving into and center in Shelby County. Sabine and San Augustine County. This is the next area that we need to be concerned about. The threat will quickly diminish now as this front moves through. Once this little cell gets through Henderson, threat's over. Carthage, we still have that tornado warning that's in effect. Once that goes away, we'll keep the threat going for about another hour, but then you'll see the threat wind down. But right here is where everything is starting to line up. You can see how it's starting to line out. The winds are starting to increase, especially across our southern counties, Houston County. So this is going to move across our southern counties here between now and 5 o'clock. So we need to really be concerned about that. You're looking at damage in the lower corner of the screen, the picture there. That came out of southern Rusk County near the Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park. And there's now another little cell moving across there that's rain, and some heavy rain will also move into that area. This storm here does have a severe thunderstorm warning on it for some stronger winds. So there may be some gusty winds that come in now behind that over that same area that had a tornado and had some damage earlier today. Then back here to the northwest, this does not help the flash flood warning that's in effect till 5:15 for Wood, or for Upshur, Smith, and I believe Wood County. And again, that's going to continue through the rest of the afternoon. So that doesn't help that. The one push of strong winds right there has moved over into Shreveport. Carthage and Panola County, again, tornado warning currently, and this goes till about another 15 minutes, but we are monitoring. So far, no reports of any tornado on the ground, but there is some reports, or there is some indication we could have some winds inside that storm approaching severe limits. And then this looks like this is trying to budge. You see that? That little push of wind right there out of Anderson County. So into eastern Cherokee County, southern parts of Rusk County, northern Nacogdoches County, and I'll turn the Nacogdoches camera back to the north or out to the west because we're going to look for that cell to come in there. So you watch that, and I'm going to try to find that Nacogdoches camera and get that kind of spun back to the west as these storms move in, because this will give us an idea of what we're looking at. Hopefully I've already got it pointed in that direction, but I'm not real 100% sure of that. So,
and Brett, like one thing to mention again from what there we go. So this is a live picture at the RV park, the Whispering Pines RV park. This was damaged by storms over in Rusk County. So we have crews out there right now. You can see several trees down. Trees snapped. Also a couple RVs that have been thrown and tumbled from possible tornado that touched down in Rusk County. Both ourselves and National Weather Service believe that there has been a tornado down in that area. Of course, they will have to go out to that area and survey, but right now our crews are kind of taking a walk around. It looks like some of that fence may have been damaged. We definitely have large trees down, branches, and then a couple RVs, which, okay, so we have tin ripped off the roof there. And we're going to toss it over to our reporter, Bryce, which is he in Rusk County right now?
Hey guys, I am right here at the RV park.
There he is. Hey,
we're about, I'd say 5 miles north of Mount Enterprise right now. And the RV park looks like it did get hit pretty hard. Parts of this roof have been torn off, and this is just metal sheets on the roof too, so it's a lot going on. Here is where we saw the majority of the damage, full on RVs, mobile homes, completely tipped on their side. These are big, heavy mobile homes too, so there was some really strong winds that just ripped right through this area here. Still pretty considerable cloud cover, a lot of dark clouds moving in toward the area. A lot of people are out surveying right now, seeing exactly what happened. Hopefully they were able to take shelter from this mobile park. Trees actually went down as well too. I'll take you right over to this one. This is the biggest one we saw here. This entire mobile home flipped completely sideways here, and there's a tree that knocked right down on it too. Some of these bigger trees are still standing, but a lot of the branches are knocked over, sideways. So we're still checking out exactly to see what kind of damage did occur here, and we're waiting to see if it will be a confirmed tornado or not. Again, we're about 5 miles north of Mount Enterprise on Highway 259, right up above Mount Enterprise. Fire departments, sheriffs are here on the scene trying to pick up some of the damage, help some of the people that were affected as well. But like I said, we'll keep you guys updated on anything else we hear from this scene, any further damage or any further storm coming in this way. I know our meteorologist will be able to update you guys on that as well. So we'll keep you updated. For now, Bryce Braunheisen, CBS19 News.
Hey, Bryce, can you hear me? I don't know if Bryce can hear.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Bryce, keep your eyes out to
Yeah.
the west. You've got, it's not severe, but you've got another cell that's moving into southern parts of Rusk County. It's with some heavy rain and, of course, dangerous lightning. I think you guys can see it right there. Yeah, I think you're seeing that cell
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
looking like that big dark
Yeah.
section of clouds right there on the west.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
it. All
yeah,
right.
we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, please do,
Yep.
because I
Thank
think
you, Brett.
that could be something you guys will need to take some shelter with pretty soon. In fact, yeah, we do have the severe
Okay.
thunderstorm warning that's in effect for that cell that's going to move into southern portions of Rusk County here. And that warning goes until 4 o'clock for Cherokee, Nacogdoches, and Rusk County. I believe that might be a new warning that was just issued not too long ago. Colleen, was that a new one from Shreveport for till 4 o'clock for a possible tornado tag on
Sure.
that?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, so we're not.
yeah, considerable, yeah. Sorry. Let's see, I'm updating here.
Yeah, if it's considerable, I mean, it's worthy of, 70-mile-an-hour winds, which could do additional damage, anything that was weakened. Meantime, I'm going to go back out here to this Panola County cell and check that out. There is just a little bit east of Carthage some circulation that's showing up, though that looks rather broad at this time. So I haven't been paying a lot of attention to this cell if you watch this in Carthage, only because this looks like this is several miles wide and it has not looked as strong. And then we have, of course, our crew back to the west that we're a little bit more concerned about, that they are out here. And if they are out here to the west, then we have to be worried that they could possibly be seeing additional winds coming in that would be rather strong. I'll widen it out a little bit and go. Another thunderstorm warning? Okay, so a new thunderstorm warning is coming, and this is going to be, not sure, Houston and Madison County. All right, so this is going to bring into play the southern part that we were a little concerned about. So now we're starting to see Houston County and Crockett. So remember, a little while ago, I was talking about this part of the storm that was moving into untapped territory, meaning that it had not been touched by thunderstorms, that it was warm, it was humid, it had a lot of energy. And so these thunderstorms, as they move into Houston and Trinity County, may become very strong, could even become tornadic as they move farther south, especially into Angelina County and Lufkin. So that next part of that storm is starting to go right now, and that's why that new severe thunderstorm warning was issued. I'm going to go back here to the north, and then I'm going to go back to velocity on this storm that has cleared Jacksonville. By the way, if you live in Jacksonville, I think you're good to go the rest of the afternoon. You are currently no longer within that area. Oh, another new thunderstorm warning is issued. Boy, and that one comes up now into Grapeland. So they're firing up these severe thunderstorm warnings left and right. So this might be tough to keep up with, Colleen, in terms of the numbers of thunderstorms that are going to be issued. And this is going to move, all of these thunderstorms are just going to, I'm just going to put a big track on this, because essentially what's going to happen is all of this is going to move eastward.
Yeah, Brett, I was going to say before we went to Bryce, all that clearing, I see the cloud cover there, and you see the cloud when it was on that loop earlier. You saw that cloud cover clearing out, which concerns me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's all that untapped energy. I mean, it's clear
so
down
there's
there.
Rusk County right now. It looks like the winds are starting to pick up there. You see that the tree blowing around, and then so.
Yeah, you're seeing that live picture on this side. This is going to be the Houston-Walker County storm, Houston-Madison County storm. So Groveton at 3:52, Lufkin at 3:58. So you have about 30 minutes. Diboll in about an hour. All right, so I'm Pollock at about 3:38. So why am I telling you this when it's outside of the polygon? Because whatever we're experiencing here in this polygon with winds in excess of maybe 60 miles an hour, that's likely going to come into the, look how clear it is. I mean, as Colleen just mentioned, it's sunny. It's sunny. I have to look at the temperature. It might be in the 80s. If it's in the 80s, you're talking about tremendous amounts of available energy. You're talking about wind that is now starting to increase in these thunderstorms. And then you're talking about humidity. So you have all the ingredients right here for some very powerful thunderstorms, which eventually will lead to flash flooding, but could also be preceded by a tornado warning. So certainly, this is an area that has a lot of potential to be very dangerous now. And that's going to be not Shelbyville, but Shelby County. That's also going to be Nacogdoches County, Angelina County, San Augustine, Sabine County, Houston, Trinity, and maybe even southern portions of Cherokee and Nacogdoches County. So this is my real big concern right now. We're gonna pan back up to the north here, and as Bryce Braunhausen was showing you, he was showing you the thunderstorm that was coming in from the west into parts of southern Rusk County. And I just got to think that at this point, we could be picking up some very strong wind gusts that are going to go along with this. So,
also getting some reports of flooding out that way in Henderson, Rusk County. There's some flooding reported in the Gaston area on State Highway 64. So that, again, we've been mentioning that other element. We have some, you can see there's a live look in Rusk County where I believe Bryce is out that way. We have emergency personnel on the road there. That is still the Whispering Pines.
Yeah, I believe
complex.
it is, yeah.
And the trees are blowing around. They are under a severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour winds. It looks like the winds are picking up that way, at least where they are. Flooded elementary gym in one classroom at West Rusk ISD. So it looks like we got some flooding over by the school out that way.
Okay, so where'd you say that was Rusk ISD or the?
Rusk ISD, yeah. Area rotation east of Carthage, still showing rotation aloft. It still has an appendage, but not seeing strong gate-to-gate velocity in the lower levels.
Okay, that's good to know, and that's what we've been looking at and sampling, and I just haven't been able to see anything that's been, right in there, just east of Carthage, but I just haven't been able to see anything that's been overly, let's say, concerning at this time. You said it's aloft, and right now the velocity on that is 53 to 50, so that's it's turning. There might be, of course, it's worthy of the severe thunderstorm warning. It's probably also worthy that the fact that we see this kind of rotation here east of Carthage, that you might have something that could spin up. If this can get over onto the Louisiana side, into the Louisiana parishes, then the Panola County warning will be dropped. This was only issued till 3:30. We'll see if this gets extended past 3:30. It may be allowed to drop. It does look like it's tightened a little bit, just a little bit stronger at this time. Not tremendously stronger, but certainly worth it. Carthage, I think Carthage, if you're watching us from Carthage, you're in the clear right now, and you are fine. You can see Bryce Braunhausen. He is out in the Whispering Pines mobile home park area that sustained damage and injuries.
The winds are really picking up there. His jacket's blowing
north
around.
of Mount, and I think he probably would need to head to shelter, whether it's inside a car or clear the area perhaps as those thunderstorms move through. And I'll show you what we're talking about here. He is currently near Laneville, and there are some, seeing those reds, those bright red areas, there are some gusts of wind that are going to come in to the Mount Enterprise area that are, they're going to take shelter right now. So that's a good idea. All right, so I'm going to go back to reflectivity, and that's Cushing currently, Appleby, Jacksonville, there's Alto. I'm kind of going down here, just sort of trying. Lufkin's about to get into those thunderstorms, so is Nacogdoches. We've got our camera at Nacogdoches. It is trained out to the west. We're going to wait for those thunderstorms to come in from the northwest. In fact, I might have to pan that over just a little bit, and then maybe we can take a look at that camera and that view of the sky out there. Here, I'm going to pan this over for us. I think I might be pointed too much one direction. Okay. Let's get back to this. I think there's some darker skies to our southwest. Yeah, okay, that's a better view. All right, so if you want, there it is. All right, so you can see, so this is going to be the next round of this thunderstorm that's going to be moving in from the southwest into Nacogdoches County and into the city of Nacogdoches. Of course, we have that camera at Stephen F. Austin State University. So you can see the rain and the thunder just moving into western parts of Nacogdoches County. But those clouds are certainly lowered. Left-hand side of the screen, you might be able to see just how lower that is. The fact that you can't see anything, the fact that it's obscured, that's heavy rain. A rain curtain for sure, might be even a hail curtain in there. If you look at the top of the screen, so notice how the clouds weren't moving left to east or left to right. They weren't moving. So that means that the storm was approaching. That's the same type of scenario if you were out driving and you saw a tornado. If the tornado doesn't appear like it's moving west to east or left to right, then it's coming toward you, and it's time to vacate that area as quickly as possible. Wait too long, it might be too late. So that's one thing. We always tell you to abandon, get to a sturdier shelter if you're in a car and you come upon a tornado. But one thing that we've talked about in the past at some tornado summits is if you see a tornado and it's moving left to right, you stop and you can let it move across the horizon until it moves out of your way. But if it doesn't look like it's moving, it's coming toward you, and it's time to turn around and drive the other direction. Don't exceed the speed limit, but get the heck out of there and just keep driving until that thing just gives up. If you get too close, we always suggest an inside sturdier structure. The last resort is getting outside of your car and going to a ditch and then hunkering down as low as possible. There's also been a suggestion even from some circles that if that's not even possible, it is to just, you grab whatever you can in your car, you get as low as possible, you kind of shelter as much of your head that you can, and you just try to ride the thing out. That's not the suggested way. That's the last chance possibility. All right, there's Laneville. Here's Mount Enterprise. That's where Bryce is. There are the winds that are coming in from the west. There's Nacogdoches. You're looking at that screen over there. That's the storm coming into Nacogdoches. Lufkin right now is looking at that same sort of storm. We've got flash flooding to the northwest of Laneville. So this storm is going to be moving into those areas. Look how untapped this is. Center, I keep going over this because I just think we might have explosive storms here that could go either instantly tornadic or at least become severe warned within the next few minutes. All right, so we got the severe thunderstorm warning until 4 o'clock, so that's southern Cherokee County. So you can see Rusk, you can see Jacksonville, so this portion of Cherokee County is in that. Then Nacogdoches and Rusk County, Nacogdoches to that little sliver. Then Houston, Trinity County, Houston and Walker County till 3:45. So those are the counties that are currently in the warning. And we had that tornado warning over in, and we still have it until 3:30 for Panola County. So we're just about, I'm going to see what happens with this cell. My inkling would be that they allow this to expire, as that is a fairly weak rotation well east of Carthage right now. Colleen, if you see anything, let me know. It might be differently on that, but this would be the area that they're watching, and it looks like we now have allowed that tornado warning to expire. Yes. All right, so that tornado warning has expired for Panola County, so currently we have no more tornado warnings in effect. Boy, go back to the Nacogdoches camera. Look at this. This is going to be an impressive view here from that Nacogdoches camera, and I'll zoom this. So if you live in Nacogdoches, what you're looking at is this very powerful thunderstorm that's going to come in. Right now we have another thunderstorm that's moving into Mount Enterprise. The rain has started to let up in Tyler and Longview. So if Tyler and Longview, we're good the rest of the afternoon. No more worries for us. It's now going to be deep East Texas between now and 6 o'clock that we have the concerns. We'll continue to see these severe thunderstorm warnings likely being issued, and we will continue to track these. We have been streaming for quite some time and on air before the first tornado warning was issued. So there you go. That's from our Nacogdoches Stephen F. Austin State University camera. The low clouds are coming in. In fact, take this shot full if we can, because I think it's more impressive when you see it full. There it is. All right, so you can just see the low base of the clouds, and all of that darkness in the center of the screen, that's just going to be rain and maybe some hail. So it is really going to rain, and we will keep an eye on the trees as the winds start to pick up also on that cell. All right, back to the radar. And I continue to monitor Facebook. Heavy rain in Beckville. Any warnings in Beckville? Tornado in Beckville. Gerald, there was a tornado warning near Beckville. I have not heard of any reports of anything touching down in Beckville. All right, let's go back to the radar off of that camera. And here's where we're looking at right now. So you got the severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Panola County. That goes until 3:45. You have this severe thunderstorm warning for Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Rusk County till 4 o'clock. So that's in effect for the next half hour. Houston County, and I believe Houston and I think Martin County was also in that. And that might be extended once we get into Angelina and another portion of Nacogdoches County. So this cell here, in this area here, again, I've said this probably 6 times now, but I'll continue to say it. If you're just joining us from Lufkin, Nacogdoches Center, or Hemp Hill, you are about to get hit in the next 3 hours with some heavy, heavy rain and wind. This is real. I believe this is going to sharpen up. The winds are going to create a bow echo, and we're going to have some terrific winds coming through deep East Texas here in the next couple of hours. Meantime, the threat for severe weather over now for today in Palestine, Athens, Jacksonville, Tyler, Longview, up to the northeast toward Harrison, up toward Atlanta. I know we've had some folks watching from Atlanta. Back to the northwest, Mineola, Lindale. You're out of the danger of any more severe weather. Now you'll start to feel the air kind of change as it turns a little cooler. The front itself now has moved all the way down in here. So we're seeing the collision of the very warm air mass and, of course, the very buoyant air down to the south into the southeast. This is southern Rusk County. We have a crew right here at Mount Enterprise. There are some winds that were at least showing up on radar. That little burst there means perhaps it's just entering or encountering perhaps a slightly less stable area, and maybe this is just going to continue to just sort of coagulate into one big mass of rain. That would be great news. Unfortunately, I think as this marches east, that changes a little bit, especially as we get into Shelby County. Panola County, severe thunderstorm warning that continues until 3:45. I'm going to guess that they will allow that to expire over the next 12 minutes. The Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Rusk County cells, those will likely be extended farther south and southeast. So right now, all right, so let's, what do we want to do from here? Because we've just basically, we have a tornado watch that's in effect until 6. That's where these, you see these areas back here in red. All right, so that's where we have the tornado watch that's in effect until 6. Colleen, have we seen, yeah, Rusk is going to, well, Rusk, they were just asking me if Rusk County was going to clear. It will, at 4 o'clock, it will clear. So we got to wait till 4 for that storm to just kind of clear on through there. Their particular place at Mount Enterprise is going to take every bit of 30 minutes to get rid of that. So we have a crew down here just north of Mount Enterprise in the Whispering Pines mobile home park that was hit. And so they are sheltering, and they need to remain sheltered as the second part of the storm moved through. Anywhere back to the northwest toward Tyler, toward Longview, it is fine right now. Nacogdoches is waiting on the storm. In fact, if we take a look from our Stephen F. Austin State University camera, we can really see, now we're picking up some lightning. Watch the right side of your screen. Look at the sinuous clouds in the foreground. And then you'll watch this. So this is the storm that's moving into Nacogdoches County. So this, if there is going to be something that lowers or becomes very dangerous, I think we are centered right on the proper part of the storm for that to happen. There just was a lightning strike back in here just a little bit ago. But we're going to watch this part right in here as this cell moves overhead. So if you live in Nacogdoches, you currently have a severe thunderstorm warning for the northwest corner of the county. I cannot imagine that we won't have the warning extended or issued for the entire county here within the next few minutes, unless this is just somehow working into an area where there's just not the right amount of instability. I mean, there have been pockets of very strong instability where in the order of 60, 65 miles an hour to produce straight line wind damage. And in some instances, we've had tornadoes spun up. And those tornadoes have been producing winds, at least when we've sampled them using our Titan storm indicator. Those have sampled more than 100-mile-an-hour winds inside those tornadoes. So I can't verify that. We'll let the Weather Service go out, do the surveys, and verify that, because again, we are looking into a certain elevation of the storm, not necessarily at the surface. Could have been stronger at the surface, and it could have been a little bit weaker. But what I'm trying to say is that when you look at the radar and you get those indications of strong circulation aloft, sometimes it can extend down to the surface or be reflected at the surface, and when it is, then you have a tornado warning. Again, this is a live picture here from the Nacogdoches camera on the campus of Stephen F. Austin State University. All right, let's go back to the radar, and what we'll check out here again is rain falling from Palestine, Jacksonville's general soaking rain, stronger thunderstorms in Panola County, southern Rusk County. Again, Nacogdoches County, I'm watching that cell move right over Stephen F. Austin State University, just a few miles to the west. Here's Angelina County. There's Houston and Trinity County currently in a severe thunderstorm warning. Notice that last little radar sweep there continues to move these cells southwest to northeast. Trouble here in East Texas is when cells are moving southwest to northeast. That's when they can start to spin counterclockwise. We don't see too many tornado warnings when we're getting winds coming from the northwest to the southeast. Those tend to be more straight line wind producers. So in all honesty, I would like to see this stop moving southwestward and start moving more rapidly south and eastward. If that were to happen, it would lessen our tornadic threat. I think the other part here is that it would allow the cold front to undercut the thunderstorms and steal some of their energy. But right now,
like 2 minutes ago, they said they're seeing a larger hail signature. I don't know if that was what you were just talking about on the southeast of Carthage. Golf ball size hail possible.
oh yeah,
And-
there was a little bit ago, but yeah,
okay.
I can go back to that. I had sort of given up on that cell to look back at the other side to the west when they went. Oh yeah, there it is, in that purple area. Yeah. So I'll zoom in on that and see if we got anything. That's just about to the border. That's not even. Let's see. That's east of Carthage. Staying east of Carthage. Yeah, there could be some impressive hail up there. That's going to be southeast of DeBerry. So if you're watching us and you live southeast of DeBerry or in that area that you've seen some large hail, please think about us. If you can safely share those pictures with us, we'd love to see those. We'll share those with the National Weather Service. When we do that, then we can verify just the strength of storms. Sometimes just that verification lets the Weather Service and ourselves know that we are issuing the right kinds of products in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings and in terms of tornado warnings. I'm hearing the rain just kind of falling gently now here in Tyler. We have flash flood watches anywhere that you see these purple areas circled. So that Rusk County, Eastern Cherokee, Southeastern Smith County. It looks like a portion of Panola County is also in that. Then another part of Smith and Upshur County in a flash flood warning. And then we have all of these thunderstorms that are moving overhead. So I think what we need to do is just kind of stay with this in case one of these cells down here to the south becomes tornadic. Otherwise, we could probably go back to regular programming. We could continue to stream a little bit, but we'll wait for the word from the control room, because last time we said that, then all of a sudden we started to see rotation pick up again, and we were right back into another tornado warning, and that was the one that was near. Oh, there's thunder. All right, so did you hear that? That's thunder here in Tyler. So we're still, in fact, let's turn back on lightning just so we, even though these look innocuous back here, and certainly we're not looking at any severe weather, there is just a lot of thunder and lightning. In fact, the lightning signatures have increased down here to the south, so that gives me an idea that these thunderstorms are also increasing in strength. So one, heavier rainfall is possible. Two, we might be looking at some sort of at least severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning yet to come here. So, Colleen, I'm guessing the Weather Service has not mentioned anything in terms of concerns for any of those cells to the southwest yet.
They have not, no. But that's what they were asking about the crews that we have out by Mount Enterprise, because they want to head towards Nacogdoches. But I said stay in place for now.
Yeah.
And we drive south.
Until the Nacogdoches cell passes. Yeah, right. Otherwise, they'd be in the middle of it.
I don't like this Boeing segment, could get strong winds out of this.
Oh, near
outside
Appleby?
of Appleby, yeah.
Yeah, near Cushing. Yeah, you want to sample? Oh, look at that. Is that heavy rain or hail in there? I'm looking at that picture right there. We can sample. We can probably look at that velocity-wise. Yeah, there's a couple of areas. Again, it's loose, but you're Cushing west of Nacogdoches. In fact, I've got that Nacogdoches camera pointed out toward this area because we're trying to see, if we were going to have anything that would pop in there. In fact, let's go to that Nacogdoches camera.
Yeah, sorry to see you.
Yeah, there it is. Can you see that? So I think we're pointed right in here. It's kind of a double picture here. So our camera, or there would be the radar signature. Out in here is a little bit of a lowering, so we'll certainly keep an eye on that. And maybe back here. Sometimes looking off of a camera, it's a little harder at distance. Let's go back to the radar now. So I'm not seeing anything, but that would be one of the areas that we're looking at. Very broad rotation. There's no doubt that this part of the thunderstorm, it may be slowly churning, but indeed it's churning. And so if it were to tighten up, then we'd be looking at a potential tornado warning. There's Alto, there's Highway 69. You've got a lot of heavy rain falling right now. This is going to be 59 out of Nacogdoches to Appleby. There is going to be Cushing, and the area in here that we're watching, just these gusty winds, so some very strong gusty winds that are not inside of the severe warned polygon. We'll widen it out. Cushing is, and this polygon goes until 4 o'clock, so that's about another 18 minutes. And then you've got this other cell down here. All right, Bryce Brownhausen is live with us showing some heavy rainfall that is moving in. Bryce, yeah, that cell is like, I think you guys are taking on the brunt of it right now.
Yeah, it looks like we're right in the center of it right now, Brett. You can see right around me. It's really loud. We're under this canopy here for shelter, but rain, heavy winds, the trees are whipping around here. We have a couple people with us shelter-wise. There's still some people out trying to pick up the debris. We advise them to try and take shelter because right now I can hear thunder around me. There's lightning, there's heavy winds, there's rain. It's a mixed bag. We got a little bit of everything. Looks like we got the full storm experience out here right now. We'll continue to keep an eye. I know you guys are checking out to kind of see what this is looking like right now. It's still pretty heavy at the moment, so we'll keep you updated live out here. But as you can tell, it's definitely still ripping through this area, Brett.
Yeah, any hail with that, or is it just all rain? And what about the wind? It doesn't look like there's much wind with that behind you.
Here, Alan, I'll flip it back on me real quick. Right out here. The wind is picking up pretty heavy.
Okay.
I'm right outside here, but no hail, just pretty decent amount of rain whipping in. The wind has been picking up on and off. I'd say about 5 or 10 minutes ago, the wind was really, really hitting us. Right now, I'd say it's not too bad, but it's really picking up on and off, so it's a little variable right now, but no hail and thunder, lightning, heavy rain. And yeah, medium wind right now, Brett.
All right,
Wow,
Bryce.
I don't know if you just heard that.
Yes, I
Thunder,
did.
but yeah.
All right, well, that's your cue to go seek
Yeah.
shelter. All right, Bryce and Alan, Casper,
Right,
please
yep, we'll-
take shelter and
yep.
get out of that storm. There's too many lightning strikes are pretty close, and look at those folks. That is never advisable, but I mean, if you have belongings that have been damaged by a storm, you know, sometimes you'll do something that you just don't really want to think about. You're not thinking clearly, so hopefully they can stay safe. Hopefully they can get sheltered, and if this cell passes, then we can get back to cleanup. So we had a possible tornado in that Whispering Pines mobile home park area, and a new severe thunderstorm warning now that has just been issued. Had this report
I think
from
that's for Panola, or yeah,
for another.
Panola. Yeah, it's
Oh, the
just
reissue
an
on
extension,
Panola?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that one has really been, that one's going to move over into the Caddo and DeSoto parishes of Louisiana.
Yeah,
by
look at
4:30.
that. Likely producing. I'm gonna just turn on the correlation. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's probably some wind in there. It's kind
little
of
bit.
whipping some stuff around, or I don't think that's hail, but there is some circulation in there. So I had 11 miles west of Mount Enterprise on 84. Steve Stevenson says rain but no wind. Wind, heavy rain, and no power since then at 3:18. So that was about a half hour ago. He lost his power. And there's likely going to be some other power outages that we hear about. This is not
Just
really
dropped
good.
That,
So
severe thunderstorm warning for Cherokee, Nacogdoches, and Rusk.
They dropped it?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Brown says it's 90, sunny, and humid in Lufkin right now. I do
Wow.
not want to hear that. There's Lufkin.
Well, look at that. There's like no clouds,
Yeah.
maybe some high, thin clouds.
Let's see what
if
happens.
anything.
I mean, I don't know, I would be surprised if this area dodges a very strong thunderstorm. I mean, it could happen, but I would just be surprised that, you just have all of that energy that's been building up, and the wind speeds aloft are increasing in the thunderstorms through Alto down to Kennard. And so deep East Texas looks like it could be an area that would experience some very strong thunderstorms. All right, let's go back to that Stephen F. Austin State University Nacogdoches camera where we've got some, I'm not going to call it a lowering, but there are lower impressive clouds right now. There's a lower cloud base right here as this thunderstorm continues to push and impress upon Nacogdoches County and the city of Nacogdoches. Back to the south, just to the right side of that screen. Let's go back to radar. I may pan that over just a second just to give us see what else we can see within that cell. But back on radar, you'll see that is part of what you were looking at before was part of the cell that was pushing in with those low cloud bases and that heavy rain. And that's the other thing. We're going to get through some of these thunderstorm warnings, and then we're going to face the possibility of some flash flooding. And the flash flooding threat that's going to be with us is going to last for a few hours past when the severe thunderstorm warnings end. But again, if you're in Tyler or Longview, we're okay now. The thunderstorm, severe, even though we're hearing thunder, the threat for severe weather has passed. If you are if you're down to the south and toward Lufkin and toward, and I should say, and San Augustine and Sabine County, then you're looking at an area that could see a few stronger thunderstorms. All right, I think I might have had the stream up, and I should have been able to just, there we are. Here we go. I'm trying to get control of this, and I keep clicking on it, and it's actually giving me the view of that. So I'm looking at the camera at Stephen F. Austin State University. All right, let's go back to that camera again. We're continuing to watch that line of showers and thunderstorms move into Nacogdoches County. Look at the sharp edge down here, and then behind that, there looks to be some other possible areas where the clouds are even just sort of almost scraping the ground back there. So it's currently an unwarned portion of the storm, but boy, it sure shows a lot of power as it's moving into Nacogdoches County. All right, back to the radar. Again, we'll probably stay on with you here through at least 4 o'clock and get rid of all of these warnings. In fact, maybe we've lost the last warning except for Houston County. In fact, did they drop that warning in Houston County?
Yes.
I think they might.
Hold on, let me put this at a standstill.
Yeah, there's another thunderstorm warning for very far eastern parts of Panola County. And it looks like they did not warn into Houston County. Here's Trinity County, and this part of the cell here now, this is a possibility. Let's hope this happens. Not for the folks down in Huntsville, certainly, but this part of the cell, this could stay south of Groveton, could stay south of Lufkin and head down across very deep East Texas. So that would miss our cities in our viewing area. It would miss Grapeland. It would miss Groveton, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. As you can see, the polygon itself takes it up toward Groveton, takes it up toward Angelina County. So not 100% sure that's going to happen. Let's widen that out a little bit, Colleen, so we can see, again, that cell moving out. So Jacksonville, you're in the clear. Henderson in the clear. Bryce Bronheisen and Alan Casper are right here. They were just reporting on some heavy rain near 259 in Mount Enterprise in southern Rusk County. They are about to come out of that cell. The heaviest of that cell is going to push to the east. There's been dangerous lightning with that. But now this cell pushes into Nacogdoches County. That's the camera that you're looking at on that side of the screen. And otherwise, yeah, this has just kind of been what we've been looking at this afternoon. There's some heavier rain that's moved back into Tyler. We can hear it hitting the roof of our television station east of Canton and northwest of Longview at this time. So some heavy cells, but kind of breaking up a little bit over deep East Texas. I don't want to jinx myself there, Colleen, but
They did just put out a special weather statement, but they didn't pull the trigger on a severe weather
for Nacogdoches.
For Angelina, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Panola, Rusk, San Augustine, and Shelby. They just kind of put out a general note that, basically what we were saying, there's potential for strong storms to form, but not enough for a severe thunderstorm warning quite yet.
Okay. All right, so we've got about 9 minutes to go, and I think we're going to ride this out for 9 more minutes just to stay with you, just in case, because I think in the next 9 minutes we'll be able to, this cell that you're looking at in the camera on the left-hand side, that will have moved over Nacogdoches by that time, and we'll know if that is going to start, that's going to prompt something else. Otherwise, what could be happening here, and we thought this was going to happen at 6 o'clock, the thunderstorms basically outrun the upper level support. If that happens, then they're essentially, I'm not going to say out of gas, but there's nothing to help to drive them, help to push them. I'm trying to think of an analogy here. When you outrun something that you need to keep you going. Maybe it's you drank all the milk in your refrigerator. I don't know. But something of that nature where these thunderstorms are, so the winds that are pushing them are essentially moving southwest to northeast while the cold front pushes them. But these now are starting to outrun those southwesterly winds, so there's nothing to continue to give them fuel or lift to keep them sustained. So they somewhat weaken. Let's go back to lightning. Just thinking about this. If we see lightning on that, we'll see if there's a ton of it or if it's coming down. It doesn't look like it's weakening any. So that might be sort of a bad analogy to use there in terms of the weakening of the storms. I'm not sure why. We're just not seeing those remain very strong at this time. All right. There's that other cell. All right. So again, we got about 7 more minutes. We have the tornado watch. I'll Colleen, any counties that have been removed from the tornado watch back to the northwest, for instance, Anderson or Cherokee County or anything like that?
Let me check. I haven't seen any updates. I'll just pop on here really fast.
All right, meantime,
I
you're
know
looking.
Rains, Hopkins, Anderson, that was the last one that I saw.
That was the last
but
one.
Let me see.
Okay. Meantime, you're looking at some video from, or a live picture from Bryce and Allen there down in southern Rusk County, Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park. If you're just joining us, it was hit as a tornado touched down there, or a possible tornado. We haven't been confirmed, but certainly the radar signatures were indicative of a tornado. Sheriff John Wayne Valdez said that one of his deputies reported a tornado, and that at one point the tornado was on the ground and was considered quite large. Our debris tracker in our radar confirmed that there was damage being lofted into the atmosphere, or lofted into the air, and you are looking at some of that damage right now that would suggest that there may have been a tornado that touched down in that area. Meantime, what we have going on here is continued severe thunderstorm watches into parts of Trinity County. We also have a Houston County, I shouldn't say Trinity, it's Houston, that goes until 4 o'clock. There is a flash flood warning, and now until 6:15. This was extended for Cherokee, Gregg, Rusk, and Smith County as more rain has fallen across those areas. This is a cell right here that we're looking at. And okay, so yeah, this is the current weather advisory. Tornado watch until 6, but Van Zant is out of it now. Rains, Hopkins, Delta, Red River. But we still have some of the counties to the north. It's interesting that Titus, Morris, and Franklin County are still in it. Just because I don't know in terms of the precipitation, looks like it's weakened considerably in those areas.
Yeah, maybe they're just letting it ride out.
Yeah, at this point,
It's
I
4
mean.
o'clock now, unless they
Right.
make the call at 4.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay, so that's where we stand currently with the severe thunderstorm warnings, just 1 or 2 going on. We'll go back to reflectivity here, and you'll notice that that's flash flood warnings in parts of Wood County into Smith County. You also notice the flash flood warning for northern Rusk and eastern parts of Cherokee County. So we've had reports of a couple of tornadoes that have touched down or possibly touched down. Looks like the hardest hit area might have been south of Henderson toward Mount Enterprise. There was another tornado reported with, it looked like debris, but it might have been trees along Highway 43 east of Henderson. So that might have been all trees. So we could have had at least 2 tornadoes here this afternoon that were just forming out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms. And the main line of thunderstorms has now sort of become broken. So it's not a sharp-edged line of thunderstorms like some of the computer model data indicated, where we thought we'd have this sharp line of strong winds and it would be widespread across the area. So for whatever reason, into this just really area that has a ton of energy, we're just not seeing those thunderstorms being able to sustain themselves as they've been moving to the northeast. So the Weather Service does have what they'll call a special weather statement for this entire area, saying, yeah, you're going to have a strong thunderstorm, but we'll wait and see if we're going to warn on any of the storms for severe thunderstorms. All right, and so we again, we're at 4 o'clock. I think we're going to just we'll end our cover here on CBS19. We'll also end our coverage on our stream and then pick it back up again if we have to, if there are any other significant warnings issued down to the south. But we're going to get an update here with the Rusk County Sheriff, John Wayne Valdez, and find out more about, I believe, the storms, what went through Rusk County. And here's Bryce with Sheriff John Wayne Valdez. Bryce?
That's right, guys. I'm with the sheriff right here now. Sheriff, do we have any updates of kind of what occurred or what you guys have seen so far in Rusk County around here?
So far, obviously heavy rains, a lot of high winds. We've had the one tornado that came through this RV park at Whispering Pines. We also had another one that was in the Durgan community that's going toward Tatum on Highway 43. And as far as we know, it went as far as one of the farm market roads on the very edge of Rusk County and crossed over into Panola. We got a lot of tree damage. There's a couple of houses that they were just able to get to off of County Road 262. This got some significant damage to it, and they're trying to find out if there was anybody home.
Has there been any flooding or road closures or any trees blocking roads that we've heard so far?
Yes to all that. We have county roads and farm market roads that not only have trees down, large trees down, but also high water as well.
And then obviously anything you'd like to say to people in Rusk County or people that may be driving through, anything you'd like to say to them or suggest at this time?
If you don't have to be on the roads, don't be on the roads right now. Our road and bridge crews for all 4 precincts are out. TxDOT's out trying to get these roads cleared off as fast as they can. Obviously with this lightning, it's difficult for them to get out of their apparatuses to do their jobs effectively. But we're trying to get them moved on as fast as we possibly can. High water, in this rainstorm, you can't see the high water in some cases, so please slow down.
All right, that was Sheriff John Wayne Valdez with Rusk County. The rain is still coming down, as you guys could see. We'll continue to keep you updated, both on the storm damage, and as the storm continues, our meteorologist team will continue to keep you updated there as well. From Rusk County here at the RV Park, I'm Bryce Brauneisen, CBS19 News.
All right, thanks, Bryce. We continue with that severe thunderstorm warning till 4 o'clock, so just another minute and a half here for Houston County, and then we have the severe thunderstorm warning till 4:30 for Caddo and DeSoto parishes and Panola County, though it looks like this part of that storm has moved out of Panola County right now. Meantime, no severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect, though it looks like there might be a little bit of hail trying to show up around southern parts of Cherokee County, Nacogdoches County into Panola County. So what we're going to end up doing here in about the next minute and a half is we'll wrap up our coverage. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning just as I say that. And New Summerfield ISD is holding all students until the thunderstorm passes. So parents, if you're watching from New Summerfield, they are going to hold your students until the threat of severe weather or the threat of this thunderstorm, at least it's not severe right now, but the threat of this thunderstorm passes New Summerfield and the surrounding area. Okay, so just in case you were wondering, that's best bet. That's the best case scenario. Keep everybody inside, keep them safe. All right, let's click back on that new severe thunderstorm warning and see what we have here. We might have, oh, it's going to be south of Crockett. All right, so it's going to be Trinity County, just that little portion of Trinity County near Huntsville right now. So that's the latest severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado watch continues until 6 o'clock this evening. The severe thunderstorm warnings are now confined to Trinity County and very far eastern Panola County. We have had reports of some damage, as Bryce Brauneisen was showing you, with Sheriff John Wayne Valdez out of southern Rusk County. And so we are gathering the information right now on that. Of course, we are going to end our streams on Facebook and on our CBS19 app, and we're going to get you back to regular programming here, but we appreciate your time. We hope we were able to keep you safe this afternoon as we've had our latest round of severe weather. For meteorologist Colleen Campbell, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Have a great afternoon.
Taking this out real quick. Hold on. All right.
So are they done with this till 5?
Yeah. You can't miss Judge Judy.